Fair head up to the wicket now and bowls, and he's bowled him.
It's going to be out. It's going to be out.
That's in the air. That's going to be caught.
And she goes aerial. She could well be caught.
Oh, it's caught. He's taken it on the second chance.
Hello and welcome to a resplendent Lord's cricket ground for the Inter-Services T20 Cricket 2023. The weather looks good for now. Let's hope this holds. We've got three very exciting matches coming up for you. First of all, the UK Armed Forces women will be up against the MCC. And then it will be the Army against the Navy and the Army men against the RAF, because the Army, of course, are reigning champions in the men's competition. Now, last year's match between the UKAF team, the UKAF women's team and the MCC ended in a win for the military side. So let's see some highlights of that.
In comes Worsfold now. Big swing by the batter on that one. And I think this could be a run out. Trussler on strike at 7 not out. And she handsomely drives that one through the long on area, and that's going to be 4 runs.
And Kant is on 3. She's facing now. One again pulled around the corner. She got hold of that one. That's going to run away up the hill for 4. It's a good shot down on one knee. Today that would have gone to hand as she comes in again. It's a full ball on leg stump. That's hit high, high, high. It's going to go over the fielder on mid-wicket for 6. That was a full toss that was given the treatment by Kant. Goodness me, she hit that well.
She comes in now and bowls, and there's an appeal for leg before, and it's getting given. Kant is out. Now, ready to face this Warren delivery. And she goes aerial. She could well be caught. She is indeed caught.
And that's the winning run. The ball is hit not quite for 4, but through mid-wicket. They run the single that is required. And the UK Armed Forces women win the match.
Quite a comfortable win then for the UKAF women last year. They won with over 2 overs remaining in that game against the MCC. Let's hope for some more military success this year. And there was some great performances by Lou Worsfold and of course Mel Vaggers, who scored the winning runs, and I do believe it was her birthday. I'm not going to tell you how old, but I do believe it was her birthday last year in June, so that will be coming up in a month's time. Now, I'm very excited to tell you that the MCC won the toss and they chose to bat. I don't know how much that means to the UKAF women, but our chief executive, Simon Bucks, was there for the toss, and that means the MCC women will be out first to bat on what at the moment is an incredibly sunny Lords. But I am joined by a man who knows a lot about playing at this level and at this ground. Jimmy Iago, you are a squadron leader and you're now manager of the RAF cricket team, but you played for many years. You're a very recognisable name, very recognisable player. Just tell us, first of all, from both a women's and a men's perspective, for any cricketer to play at Lords, it is such a privilege. I mean, that goes without saying. But what does it feel like when this day comes around every year?
So you're absolutely right. It's the mecca of cricket, and anybody who knows anything about cricket or enjoys cricket, this is the place to play. They're professional cricketers who haven't had the opportunity to play here. I'm lucky enough to play here several times, as you mentioned, which is fantastic. But everybody involved, certainly those 33, 44 players now who will be out on this pitch, it will be a dream come true for them. And they would have been watching the weather from weeks out, hoping the sun will be shining as it is now. Fingers crossed, touch wood, that it remains. But it's an absolute privilege and an honour to be playing at this home of cricket.
And because the military are held in such high regard and are allowed, we've got Twickenham this weekend, we've got Lords today, but no one takes it for granted, do they? There's always going to be that lump in your stomach, that sort of lump in your throat, that kind of makes your heart beat a little bit faster when you play here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first time people step out onto here, I don't quite know, or I don't think they know how they'll quite react. Although that said, they're all professional in their own right, and I'm sure they will all rise to the occasion on the day.
How pleased are you? I know it does impact the men's tournament a little bit in that the RAF played the Navy on Friday for the first of those matches. But how pleased were you to see the UKAF women? They'd obviously played on the nursery pitch before against an MCC side, but given that they are first up today, just for the advancement of cricket for all, it was really important that they got to play on the main wicket.
Yeah, I think women's sport in general has come a long way. I think cricket has certainly come a long way in the last few years. So it's a great occasion for them and for everybody. While it slightly breaks the tournament up, but I don't think it impacts on it too much, and everybody gets to enjoy the opportunity here. So yeah, it's a good thing.
And the Army men, of course, we look a bit further ahead than the women's game. The Army men are reigning champions, which is why they've ended up having the privilege of having both their games here. I mean, that comes with added pressure as well. You as, I don't expect you to be neutral in this. The RAF have won this tournament, and to be honest, are closer to the Army probably this year than what we saw from the Navy on Friday. But really, that's an incentive to win as well, is that you would then get both your games on the same day at Lords.
Yeah, quite. So that is absolutely an incentive. To play one game here is great. To play two, even better. So that's probably in the back of the guys' minds for next year. But they'll just be focused on this game this afternoon, prepare accordingly, and come out and do their utmost. And fingers crossed they'll win. Well,
yes. I mean, let's talk about the RAF because. They won, I think it was the tournament before COVID, wasn't it, that they were champions from, and then the Army have stolen it back the last couple of years. But what sort of state and what sort of fitness are the guys into in the light blue?
Yeah, good shape. We prepared well. We've got a few new players who have come through and literally broken into senior side already, so that's good news. So I think we're in a good position to go on and win the tournament. I'm quietly confident, although I don't want to appear overconfident. But we'll see. I think we'll know more at 7 o'clock this evening.
Do you miss it, or is the managerial side sitting well with you?
How could I not miss it? I look here and clearly I turned my arm over yesterday in the nets actually, but I suddenly realised no, it's probably the right thing to hang the boots up. But yeah, no, I do miss playing thoroughly. But equally, it's great to be involved and to try and give a little bit back from a management's perspective.
Well, listen, Jimmy, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy your day. I do hope that the good weather continues. We'll keep you updated on whether the weather is going to turn later in the day. But for now, let's join our MCC commentary team, and the first voice you will hear is Ben Feasey.
And after that, the Army, the defending champions, will be playing against the Royal Navy. That match scheduled to take place at 1:15, although given the forecast that might be revised a little bit. We'll see how we go. And then the third and final match today here at Lords will be between the Army and the Royal Air Force. That match scheduled to take place at 4:30. All matches scheduled to last for 20 overs, and the players are making their way out onto the field now. Our match officials, our umpires are Umpire Johnson and Umpire Deborah Burns, and our scorers Helen Hyde and Susan Cray. And we have the result of the toss, and I'm just going to introduce into the summarisers chair Avinash Navjani.
Thank you, Ben. Nice to be here again at Lords for this match. Always a very high standard of cricket in our armed forces. MCC won the toss, and their batters will soon be making their way out to the middle. The armed forces are already on the field, and lots of stretching and things going on. As you say, a beautiful sunny morning, a lovely early summer's day here at Lords. Let's hope the rain misses us and we have a full day's cricket.
Well, yes, we hope so. Quite a low-scoring game, this corresponding fixture. Last season, the UK Armed Forces women scoring 116 for 4 to beat the MCC. MCC batted first and made 115, so the UK Armed Forces women winning by 6 wickets.
I think we might have a bit of a colour clash here, because they seem to have exactly the same colour, the batters, as the fielders.
Yes, I think we've got a very deep navy blue and black. So yes, the MCC women are in a deep navy blue. You'll be able to see this a little more comfortably on the streaming channel. I can tell you that throughout the day's play, Forces News will be live streaming this and taking our commentary, and that's going to go on their YouTube channel. That'll be available all day, and let's hope that for the duration of the day they'll be showing cricket and sunny skies and not rain clouds. So relatively defensive field in this early stage. We've just got 1 slip in position. We have a square leg, a shortish mid-wicket. It's a short boundary on that side of the ground as we look from our commentary position here at the media centre at the nursery end. Mid-off and mid-on are up inside the 30-yard circle, and we have a cover point on the edge of the 30-yard circle. So 1 catcher out in the deep. We've got a deep square leg in case there's perhaps a mistimed pull shot, although you probably wouldn't expect cross-batted strokes this early on in the innings. And in a few moments we'll get ready for the first delivery of the Inter-Services 2023 Armed Forces Tournament. And here we go. I'm afraid I can't credit the bowler at the moment because it's not on the scoreboard, and that's outside the off stump, and that ball goes through to the keeper, and there's no run. Just a bit of a loosener really, just putting the ball out there. It does take a little bit of getting used to bowling here because of the slope. Now looking at it from our commentary position, there's quite a pronounced difference between the field on the left as we look from our commentary position and on the right. There's a difference of a metre or so. This is wide outside the off stump as well, and that's cut straight to point, but it's going to be picked up inside the 30-yard circle, and there's no run. So just feeling the way into some rhythm here. You have to watch out bowling here from the pavilion end for the ball that goes down the slope, but that was quite a lot of width outside the off stump, so no danger there. Now that has squared the batter up a little bit, and that's gone straight through to the keeper. That ball was a little straighter and a little shorter, and I think there'll be a few jangling nerves at this early stage in the innings.
Bit of extra bounce on that one.
Oh, certainly, yes.
I was surprised by that.
Well, you'd expect a bit of bounce this early on. You might get a bit of swing, although the white ball tends to only swing for about 5 or 6 overs, possibly not even as much as that. And this is a length ball which is played defensively into the offside, and there's no run. We've got a couple of practice strips just to the right of where this match is being played. 3 matches taking place today, of course, as we mentioned in commentary earlier, as the bowler comes up to the wicket, and this is short, back of a length, and that's cut behind point, and there are going to be some runs here. A comfortable 2 runs as the ball is picked up outside the 30-yard circle, and a little group of pigeons who were just minding their own business were briefly disturbed by the fielder running in and retrieving the ball, but now they've gone back to pecking at the turf. And this is a fourth delivery, again back of a length, quite straight, and this is cut straight to point. They thought about a single there, but they aborted at the last moment, and that was a sensible decision because that ball was picked up comfortably inside the circle, and that takes us to the end of the over. I look forward to the scoreboard materialising, but I'm afraid it hasn't at the moment, but we'll do our best to keep you informed. So, end of that over, 2 runs scored.
A good first over there. The bowler dropped into a nice rhythm straight away. I don't know the bowler's name, unfortunately, but oh, it was Amanda Potgieter.
Amanda Potgieter.
Right. Yes, I think that's the right pronunciation.
She's a
from South
staff
Africa.
Sergeant.
Yes,
Staff
Staff
Sergeant. She's
Sergeant
an
Amanda
all-rounder.
Potgieter. I remember she played in this fixture last year.
So we're now going to have our first over from the nursery end. So from this end, the ball will tend to move away from the right-hander going down the slope, and that's number. So that's Lauren Harden is going to be bowling the second over. And again, we've got one slip in place, 3 fielders saving one on the offside. We've got a mid-on, mid-wicket and a backward square leg. Just one fielder in the deep, she's at deep cover. And here we go now, up to the wicket and bowls, and this is a very full delivery, and that's played with a defensive prod. I think that ball kept a little lower than the batter anticipated actually. It might have been a little bit of swing in at the last moment. Very full delivery there as Lauren Harden, Captain Lauren Harden I should say, goes out to the wicket and bowls. This is outside the line of off stump, and the batter tries to drive that through cover and misses, and that goes through to the keeper, and I think there is a little bit of swing here, and the batter just playing down the wrong line.
I think it's actually Melanie Vaggers who's actually bowling, we're told.
Here we come, up to the wicket now and bowls. This is another very full delivery, and that's played straight to a short extra cover where the ball is picked up by Connie Cant, Lieutenant Connie Cant, who is our UK Armed Forces captain. And these are encouraging signs here for the Armed Forces. There's definitely some swing here in these early overs, as this next delivery is played into the onside where it's picked up at short mid-wicket. And there's no run. This is a really good over here from the UK Armed Forces, and MCC just getting off to a tentative start here. The white ball doesn't swing for long though, or usually doesn't. That's always worth mentioning. This delivery is played straight back to the bowler with a straight bat, and there's no run. We've got a reasonable number of spectators in the grandstand and either side of Old Father Time. That's where the scorers sit, which is to the left of our commentary position here at the media centre. And this next delivery, again very full, but that's down the leg side, and that's paddled down to fine leg. It is picked up inside the 30-yard circle, but they do have time to run a single. So just one slightly loose delivery at the end of an otherwise very good over, and just a 1-run score, 3 without loss.
Yes, another good over from the Armed Forces. Lots of control in the bowling already, and the two MCC batters are having a little conference in the middle. Being a T20, I'm sure they'll have some pressure to get the score going soon, but it's early days yet. As you say, a nice crowd building up, mainly down in the tavern, and a lot of the boxes in the grandstand are occupied as well, which is nice to see. And some of the tavern boxes as well.
Well, it's going to be Amanda Potgieter to continue from the pavilion end. We've got a few members in the pavilion. I can see, I think, perhaps one rhubarb and custard blazer down there. I'll check that again in a minute. As Potgieter comes up to the wicket bowling quite wide of the crease, and this is an attempted cut, and the ball is bottom edged into the popping crease, and there's no run. A little bit late on the shot there, and possibly a bit of frustration creeping in for the MCC.
Yes, that's a little bit of pressure showing there.
Well, very encouraging start here for the UK Armed Forces, who won this fixture by 6 wickets last season. As Potgieter, now that is wide, and I wonder if that might be signalled as such, but no. There is a blue line outside the line of off stump, about a foot or so outside the line of off stump, and I fancy that ball was perhaps just on the line, which is good enough. If it goes wide of the line, it will be given wide. But this is good bowling here from Potgieter, not really letting the MCC get away. This is a full ball, it's down the leg side, it's paddled down to fine leg. This is a quick single, they'll have to hurry, but the throw's not quite 100%, and what would have been a tight single ended up being quite comfortable in the end. So another valuable run here for the MCC. It's only their 4th run though, and we're in the 3rd over of the innings, with 17 remaining after this. And here is Potgieter past the umpire now and bowls, and this is cut. That's a really nice shot, and that's beaten cover point, and that's going to be picked up by the sweeper fielder in the deep, and they'll have time to run through for 2 runs. That's probably the best shot that's been played in the innings thus far, and that was just a little bit too much width from Potgieter.
Yes, and a little short really. It was the invitation was there to cut it out into the covers, and she did.
So it's reasonable pace in this wicket. It's not among the fastest of wickets, but there's certainly some good carry here for the new ball, and this ball is driven through cover, and that's some more work for the sweeper to do, because that's beaten the 30-yard circle as well. But this is only going to be the 1 run, and that takes the MCC on to 7. They'll need to accelerate this scoring rate at some stage, but they've got all 10 wickets in hand, and there's plenty of time. There's usually a bit more time than you think, even in a 20-over fixture. As Popgeiter runs up to the wicket now and bowls. This is outside the off stump, and it's driven straight back to the bowler. I think the scoreboard's having a bit of an off day, because that is showing us the previous championship match, which was played between Middlesex and Kent. Kent at one stage were 99 for 5, so that would have been a nervous moment for the lower middle order. So that's the end of the 4th over. MCC women are 7 without loss. Avinash, you're going to take over as commentator, and I'm going to introduce our new summariser, Neem Rajaya.
Yes, so MCC off to a tentative start, 7 without loss of 4 overs. The UK Armed Forces bowling very tight. There's a slip in place, and the new bowler is going to, it's the same bowler continuing from the nursery end, which is where we're based, and in she comes now, right arm over the wicket, and that ball is missed by the batters. Watched it carefully, no edge or anything like that, but just mistimed the shot, and it went through to the wicketkeeper. Score remains 7 without loss. Hello, Niam.
Hello, how are you?
Very well. A beautiful sunny morning.
It is a lovely day.
This next ball is a full pitch delivery, which is played out onto the onside and fielded by the fielder at short mid-on. There is no run. A nice buzz around the crowd. We can hear the chatter from our open window here. And this next delivery is played down the leg side. There's some confusion. That's got to be
oh dear.
Run out there. There's a miscommunication between the two batters, really. The batter played the shot and just set off without really waiting for the call from the non-striker, and it was actually the non-striker's call, because she was running to the danger end. In the end, she stood no chance at all, and the first wicket for MCC has gone down. The batter walks off very disappointed. 7 for 1.
Lots of confusion there, wasn't there?
Yeah. There was never really a run, to be fair. I don't know what the batter was thinking by setting off.
Well, the thing is, I think it came off her thigh pad or something, ended up by the keeper's left hand, and then they decided to run.
Yeah.
Probably the wrong call.
Yeah, I think she just perhaps thought it had gone past the keeper or something like that, but she didn't really look. She just set off straight away. So not a great start for MCC. 7 for 1. We're in the 5th over.
And it was Delanga who was out. He was run out at the striker's end. I think they did run through, actually. I think they did cross, and therefore it was the non-striker Delanga that was out for 2 runs, and that takes the MCC women's first 11 to 7 for 1. After 3.3 overs. And the new batter, we believe,
It's Sean Kelly.
I actually think it might be Akil Latifi.
Oh, sorry, Sean's already there. I beg your pardon. Yes, it's Amelia. Oh no, hang on, we've got the list here somewhere. Yes, Akil Latifi is the new batter, and he's just making her way out to the middle. The other batter has gone to have a quick word with her. Bit of a strategy chat. 7 for 1 is not a great position to be in.
Quite an aggressive field here, especially in the offside.
Absolutely, we've got it's a short boundary there for the batter batting at the pavilion end, and there's a fielder at the point, extra cover, a sweeper on the extra cover boundary, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, field on the square leg boundary, in comes the bowler past the umpire now. That's a good length delivery which is played defensively back down the track and fielded by the fielder running in from mid-off, short mid-off. Seven for 1. In comes the bowler again. Another nice delivery which is slightly outside the off stump, and it's cut into the offside, backward point, and nicely fielded by the fielder running from point, and they take a single. The score goes up to 8 for 1. Latifi was on 1, and Kelly, who will be on strike now, 5 not out, and she has already faced 11 deliveries. This next one is cut out into the covers, and they take a quick single as the fielder from the cover point boundary comes and fields that straight to the wicketkeeper.
You can see the impact of the slope there, because the ball has actually started relatively straight for the last 2 deliveries, and it's hinted down the slope, and they've managed to just push it away to that shorter boundary on the offside.
So the score after, it says 4 overs, but I think, is that 5 we've done now? That's 4 overs. So 9 for 1 after 4 overs. I think what that means is that Ben perhaps went off a little early. A beautiful sunny morning here. Let's hope it continues. It has that early summer feel about it, Lords. A few members on the benches outside the pavilion. In comes Potgieter from the pavilion end, and the batter did not know much about that. Played and missed. Perfectly legal delivery, not wide, and it's taken by the wicketkeeper. There is no run. Score remains at 9 for 1. This is the ball-by-ball commentary service from MCC. You're very welcome to email us to tell us if you're enjoying our commentary. Next delivery is played out onto the onside. A pull shot which is fielded by the boundary fielder there, and they take a quick single. Ball by ball at mcc.org.uk.
And of course, you can hear us also on YouTube at Forces News on their YouTube channel.
It will be particularly nice to hear from you if you are in fact with the Forces serving somewhere far and wide, far away from here. Let us know where you are. There's a sudden hush as the umpire holds out the arm, indicating the batsman's not ready. Now she's ready. In comes Potgieter, and that's a slower delivery, which was picked up straight away by the batter, and it's just played out onto the offside. Score is 10 for 1. We're in the 5th over. I'm sure that the batters will start feeling the pressure to get this score ticking along soon. It's Latifi on strike at the nursery, and another slower delivery, full slow delivery, which is just played out and fielded by the bowler off her own bowling. This is very, very good bowling by Potgieter. She's in the 3rd over and has conceded only 7 runs so far. And she comes again. Latifi, bat raised high, slightly shorter ball, and it was an attempted cut shot which didn't quite come off, and again the ball just went back to the bowler. There is no run.
You talk about Potgieter and her experience. She's actually the first female player to reach 100 caps for the Army.
Wow. Last ball of the over. That's slightly shorter, and again went straight through to the wicketkeeper, on the verge of being a wide, I would say, but within the blue line, so not given, and no run again. So 10 for 1 after 5 overs. Kelly is on 7 and Latifi on 1. I think we've had a change of batting gloves for Kelly.
So soon?
Yeah,
Must be a warm day.
Or was it for the wicket keeper? I'm not sure. It might have been for the wicket keeper, actually.
I think it may have been a helmet,
Or maybe a helmet, yes.
because it looks
Looks
like,
a slow bowler coming on.
yeah, it looks like from the nursery end we have a change of bowler for the armed forces.
Sales,
Correct, yeah.
Lieutenant Commander.
And it looks like she's a leg spinner, given her cricketing hero is Wasim Raja.
In fact, I think she learnt from Wasim Raja. Yes, the first ball, indeed, leg spinner, and that's played out onto the onside, and it's fielded near mid-wicket. And they take a quick single.
It's a very similar field as well. Two sweepers out, one on the deep square leg boundary and one deep cover.
And she comes again, a very short pitched ball there. Didn't quite get the length right, and the batters weren't really able to take advantage of that. They just took the single, but had that been spotted early, that would have made its way to the boundary, I think.
Sometimes those are harder to play.
True, true. Let's see how she does with this third ball of the over. Nice high action, that's a better delivery. Good length, an excellent delivery, which had the batter in all sorts of trouble and taken by the wicketkeeper. No run. Slightly quicker delivery that was. 12 for 1, MCC. They won the toss, chose to bat. In comes Sales. Slightly shorter delivery and drifting onto the leg side, and it's played out towards the square leg boundary, and they take a single.
I think she's definitely found her line and length now, giving it a bit more flight, allowing the ball to get above the eye line of the batter.
So Latifi is on strike. She's 2 not out, and in comes Sales, and that again is, yeah, that is wide and signalled as a wide by the umpire. Short and wide. Score goes up to 14. The fielder at short third. At point, extra cover mid-off. As she comes in now, again a short delivery, and again the batter attempts to play that, but didn't really advance down the track, which she really could have done because it was very short. 14 for 1. Last ball of the over coming up from Sales. That's a fuller delivery, much better delivery, which the batter just sort of pads away down the leg side. Thinks about a run and is sent back by the non-striker, quite correctly sent back. Score is 14 for 1.
It seems like the MCC women need to just calm down some of their calling. It was almost a similar situation to the...
It's a repeat of the run out, wasn't it? Yeah. But I suppose they're feeling the pressure. I mean, the 6 overs gone already, only 14 on the board, 1 wicket down. But yeah, there's plenty of time to go still, and they just need to build a couple of good partnerships. Kelly's 9 not out, and they've had a bit of a chat in the middle. It's Kelly who's going to be on strike from the pavilion end, and Potgieter. Change of bowling, and from the pavilion end, Potgieter is being relieved. It is going to be
Megan Richards, I believe.
all right.
Looks like, I'm going to assume, right arm over from the pavilion end. And once again a similar field. 2 sweepers out, 1 on the cover boundary and 1 at deep mid-wicket.
That first ball is played out onto the leg side, that short leg side boundary here from the nursery end, and it's 4 runs. Didn't quite make it for a 6. I think it was first or second bounce over the ropes.
And that's the first
boundary
first boundary
of the day. Yes, and that was Kelly. She moves on to 13, and the score on to 18 for 1.
And I was just about to say before this over started that the MCC women will want to get that run rate up a little bit, given that they're going at 2.9 now. It was about 2.3 2.3 before that delivery.
So Richards waits patiently at the pavilion end whilst the batter, Kelly, is taking stock of the field, especially the leg side field there, which is fairly packed. 2 on the boundary there. She's having a word with the umpire. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. The square leg umpire, I mean. Now she's ready to go. In comes Richards. Right arm over the wicket, a full delivery, which is played straight to the fielder on the ropes there, and they take a quick single.
And after that previous shot, the one on the first delivery, they've moved another fielder to the almost a cow corner boundary. Just right at Father time.
Score moving a little bit more quickly now, which is good for MCC. In comes the bowler, and that one is played again onto the leg side. 4 runs behind square leg, back of leg boundary there. Score moves on to 23 for 1. So Richards sort of not quite got the length yet. Her first over, and they're finding it a little easy to get her away on the leg side. She's drifting onto the leg side there. Halfway through her first over. 23 for 1, and now it's going to be Latifi facing from this nursery end. 3 fielders on the boundary there on the leg side now. In she comes. Fuller delivery, and that's played straight back past the bowler. An attempted stop with her feet by the fielder running in from mid-off, but it went past her, and they've taken a single.
Latifi didn't quite catch all of that, but it was a nice looking shot. It was,
yeah. I mean, it looked as if it was actually going to go way past the bowler, but it didn't quite time that. 24 for 1. Kelly on 14 not out, and Latifi on 7. It's Kelly on strike from this nursery end. And this next ball is played down the leg side again to the square leg boundary. And they take a single. Even though these balls are finding their way straight to the fielder, they are taking these quick singles, which is very important. Score has moved on to 25. The last ball of Richards' first over coming up. In she comes now, and that's a better length delivery, and it's played straight back to the bowler by the batter. Score remains at 25 for 1, and that is now 7 overs completed. So slightly bit of a recovery by MCC. They've got the board ticking along, which is good.
that was a slightly more expensive over.
Yes, I think she struggled, didn't she, to find her a couple of nice deliveries, but generally the length was a little inconsistent. And with that short boundary at this end, if you're a right-handed batter from the nursery end, then you know, anything short will be dispatched to the boundary.
There were 2 boundaries off that previous over. 11 was the number of runs scored. And as you say, with that shorter boundary on the leg side to a right-handed batter, it is actually relatively easy, if you get it over the infield, for it to run for a boundary.
Yes.
And I think it's Sales continuing.
To continue from the leg spinner, to continue from the nursery end. 2 fielders on the ropes on the offside. Fielder at cover point, extra cover and mid-off. That's a full pitch delivery, which again, the batter will be disappointed that she did not punish that. It was a ball waiting to be hit, and it was again played not with great timing and fielded at mid-on, and there was no run. And she got there, nice looping action, again a fuller delivery. That was almost Yorker length, and the batter just made some sort of contact with it, in the fielder, the wicketkeeper just fielded that.
It's much better from Sales, giving it some height.
Yeah. She has a really nice loopy action, high arm. That's a shorter delivery, which is played straight back, and the fielder from mid-on fields and spots that the end where there was some danger was the wicketkeeper's end, and threw the ball there, but the batter was well within her ground. They take a quick single. Score moves on to 26 for 1. Kelly on 16, and Latifi, who will be on strike, is 7 not out. In comes Sales, and that was really a very poor delivery. 2 or 3 bounces before it reached the batter.
I think that's a no ball, because the second bounce was actually in front of the popping crease.
Okay, so no ball there. Yes, and
That's a free hit.
A free hit signalled by the umpire. So Latifi is getting ready to hopefully dispatch this. Yes, she does. Well, tries to anyway. She hits it out into the air, and only the single, because the fielder on the extra cover boundary feels that. Again, didn't quite connect as well as she would have hoped. Score moves on to 28 for 1. Kelly is now 16 of 23 deliveries. Latifi's on 8. Kelly's on strike. Again, that ball is, I think, going to be a no ball, isn't it? Gone down to the boundary. What's the umpire going to say?
That's 4 runs, a no ball, and it'll be another free hit.
Has the free hit been signalled?
I imagine it will be.
Should be, but I didn't see the signal for that. But certainly 4 runs down that very long boundary. It is a bit inconsistent, this bowling from Sale. She's struggling to find her length. It is indeed a free hit. The umpire has just signalled that. 33 for 1. Let's see if Kelly can do better with this free hit. I think she's... Ooh. That was up in the air, straight over mid-off. And they're going to take 2 runs. Yes.
You can, of course, be run out on a free hit, so it's important to make sure that you're still running correctly. But it is easy to do as a leg spinner. It is easy for your hands to get a bit wet. And
it's not easy, this, especially here at Lord's. Last ball of the over, and that's a better length. And it's just played defensively by the batter. And the score remains at 35 for 1. Latifi is on 8 not out. Kelly on 22. I am now going to make way for Amber to join Niam to carry on the commentary.
thank you, Avinash. As we say, the score for the MCC Women's is 35 for 1. As Sales just finished her 2nd over. And we have Megan Richards continuing from the pavilion end. As I welcome into commentary, Amber.
Good morning. How are you, Nim?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
Yes, good, thank you. What a lovely day here at Lord's.
It is a sun-kissed Lord's.
Shame it's a bit chilly up here, though.
It is a bit chilly, I think, when you put the air conditioning on. But nonetheless, we have Megan Richards continuing from the pavilion end to Akil Latifi, and she bowls. Runs in past the umpire. Right arm over, that's short of a length, and that she should be run out. She was indeed run out. That ball was just short of a length, a big swing and a miss from Latifi, and the keeper collected, and she stumped her.
Just as MCC women were picking up some sort of momentum, that wicket has caused a bit of trouble.
I don't think even I was quite ready for that.
No.
The first delivery on my commentary. Well, there you go. And the first delivery for your commentary as well. Nonetheless, Latifi was stood outside her crease, to be fair. It was a big swing outside the off stump and collected by the keeper, and niftily she took the bails off.
I can see why she went for that shot, as pressure's on. We're nearly halfway through 20 overs. Run rate's still looking a little bit low.
Yeah, the run rate's around 4.3. And as we say, the MCC Women's 35 for 2. And Latifi had given herself the chance to settle in.
Yeah. Well, she scored 8 off 15, not bad. Supported Kelly quite well out there, I think. I think they've utilised the singles very well so far.
They have a few hit and miss calls,
yes,
but nonetheless, I think they've sorted that out now.
Got
And
Tyson in.
We do.
Not Fury.
Not Fury. Definitely not Fury. That would be a turnout for the books. And I will confirm with you exactly who that is.
Rebecca Tyson.
Rebecca Tyson. fantastic, and Rebecca Tyson will come in to support Kelly for this partnership. Tyson looks like she's a left-hander. So just to be clear, the bowler Richards is bowling from the pavilion end, and so to the left-handed batter. The left-handed batter's offside will be towards the shorter boundary, towards the tavern stand.
She hasn't chosen to command the wicket, has she?
She hasn't. She'll continue over the wicket, I believe. And the field that we have, by the way, is a mid-off, mid-on, extra cover, 2 fielders out on the offside boundary at deep cover and backward point, a short fine leg, a short square leg, a mid-wicket, and another sweeper on the onside boundary at a deep mid-wicket. For the left-hander, of course. And there's a bit of chopping and changing of the field as the captain moves people 3 yards here and 3 yards there, but nonetheless very important to do so as Richards continues from the pavilion end. That's short of a length and pushed into the offside, and they run through for a quick single. And that means Tyson gets off the mark on her first delivery faced. And the ball makes its way round the field. And this is always the intriguing bit, because we have a left-hand, right-hand combination, and they have to keep changing the field.
It's a curveball. As a bowler, well, former, it's a massive curveball.
And we have 3 fielders out on the leg side boundary as Richards continues. Bowls outside the off stump, driven, and that's missed. That's actually given a wide. I thought that was tight-ish. It's just outside the blue line, according to the umpire. Outside the offside blue line. Collected well by the keeper nonetheless, but that was a wide. So 37 for 2 are the MCC women. Richards continues, 3rd ball of her over now. This is outside the off stump, shorter and just placed into the offside, and they've run kind of there. They almost ran.
Miscommunication there. I think Tyson wanted the run. Kelly very firmly said no.
And I think that once again proves that they need to make sure that their calling is on point, because otherwise you could have a repeat of the first wicket. But Richards continues nonetheless. 4th ball of her over. Outside the off stump, cut away, and that's actually cut straight. It was a bit of a miss hit, and they run through for a single as the ball was collected by the mid-off fielder.
It's great fielding. Great stop for mid-off there.
I think she was probably trying to cut that away to the diving right hand of the point fielder, but didn't quite get all of it, did Kelly, and it went to mid-off. But nonetheless, left-hander Tyson on strike. MCC women's 38 for 2. Richards continues. This is fuller, straighter, and just placed past the bowler, defended resolutely as the ball makes its way to the mid-off fielder. And we prepare for the final ball of Richards' over. This, of course, the 9th over for the MCC women's. And she continues. This is outside the leg stump, and that will be given a wide, I assume. It was indeed a wide. And that's, I believe, 2 wides this over.
Yes.
And that means that that's 2 extra runs and 2 extra balls. The score now 39 for 2. Richards has gone for 15, but of course has taken the 1 wicket as well. So here we go, she continues, bowls straighter, and that's again placed quite firmly to the mid-on fielder, defended strongly there by Tyson, as that's the over finished. That's the end of the 9th over. MCC women's 39 for 2. That takes Kelly, who's now on strike, on 23 runs off 28 deliveries faced, and Tyson 1 run off 3 deliveries faced. And we would assume that it's sales to continue, but it may not be. In fact, there may be a change of bowler.
Not the tightest over from Richards. I feel like Kelly's very much holding the innings together for MCC women's. I think we've got your bowler.
We have Shima Wright. And I think one thing that's confusing us is that we've been given a team list.
We have.
With
lovely photographs.
With some lovely photographs, with numbers on the back, but I think they've got different numbers on their backs.
They have, yeah.
But Shima Wright, who's been serving for 3 years and is from St Vincent and the Grenadines.
It looks like we've got this spin into the attack.
Yeah, so supporting sales, it looks like we've got the
It seems what they're doing is to the right-handed batter, of course, the leg side boundary is the longer boundary towards the grandstand. And therefore they've decided, it seems, to put the slower bowlers, the spinners, on from the nursery end. But we do also have a left-handed batter as well. So here we have Shima Wright for her first over, bowling to Kelly. And she bowls firm on the offside and placed away to the deep cover fielder by Kelly, and they run through for a single, takes a score to 40 for 2, brings the left-handed Tyson on strike. Shima Wright's bowling right arm over the wicket. Seems
Quite a lot of fly on that.
there was quite a lot of flying. I would assume that she's a leg spin bowler just from her action. But nonetheless, they've added protection on the leg side, which is the shorter boundary. So just by the tavern stand, they've added another fielder for protection. Shima Wright continues. This is floated outside the leg stump, and unless that touched something, that will be given a wide. Oh, it seems like it did touch something. And it was not given a wide, so that's 2 deliveries bowled. And I'll run through the field for you in just a second as Wright continues. Hop and a skip in, that's short of a length and just placed into the offside, defended quite strongly there by Tyson. That seems to be her shot of the innings so far, just a place into the offside. Wright continues, bowls, floated on the leg side, and she tries to hit that one away into the leg side, but it only goes as far as the deep square leg fielder who's on the boundary, and they run through for a single. So the field that we have for the right-handed Kelly off Wright's bowling is a point, a deep cover, an extra cover, a mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, deep mid-wicket, deep square leg, and a fine leg as she continues, and that should be, well, that was close. She looked like she came down the wicket, but actually it was just outside the off stump, collected by the keeper, but nothing happened in the end. It looks like she managed to get back into her crease, but again, that floated delivery that seems to be causing a lot of trouble. Wright continues, final ball of her over, bowls, floated again into the offside, and again that one seemed to go a bit low. It didn't quite bounce as high as she was expecting, and it goes through to the keeper. That's the end of the 10th over.
Up and through.
We are
41 for 2. We can see Kelly getting a little bit impatient there at the end. Yeah.
She was, but it did bounce a bit low, so I think just to cut her a little bit of slack. It wasn't the easiest deliveries to hit away.
I think she'll definitely be feeling the pressure.
Well, it seems like the innings is resting on her quite a bit. She's, of course, 24 off 31 deliveries, and Tyson, who's now on strike, to Richards, who continues from the pavilion end on 2 runs from 6. And this is Richards, bowls. This is outside the off stump, and again placed, I've said it before, but it was her favourite shot, just placed into the offside for no runs, as the ball makes its way round the field. Lords is flooded with sunlight today, but there also seems to be a bit of a wind. The MCC flag on the grandstand waving slightly as Richards continues. This one again straight and placed into the offside, and they run through for a quick single, up picked up by the extra cover fielder, but they managed to run well there. There seems to be better calling.
Yes. Less risky around.
3 fielders out on the leg side, shorter boundary, as Richards continues. This one's straighter, a full toss, and that's placed over the mid-off fielder, and they run through for a single. They'll think about a second. They do go for a second, and that's thrown in from one of the fielders who collected it. 3 fielders, one from extra cover, one from mid-off, and one from the deep cover boundary, all ran to collect that. That was a slight loosener from Richards. It was a full toss outside the off stump. That takes Kelly 26 off 32, takes the MCC 44 for 2. Richards continues outside the off stump. This one's short, and she tried to get that one away, but they run through for a single as the ball makes its way to mid-off. Again, tried to play that cut shot, probably out to the sweeper on the cover boundary.
Not quite connecting, I don't think, as well as she wanted to on that one.
Here we have the left-handed Tyson on strike indeed. 2 fielders out on the cover boundary, as Richards continues. This one's straight, and she tries to just play that one with the wrists onto the leg side, but doesn't quite manage it. And it drops dead down the pitch for no run. And the keeper, by the way, has stood up for the pace bowling of Richards. Final ball of her over from the pavilion end as she bowls. Outside the leg stump, and that's just clipped away down fine leg. This may run away, we'll see. And they run through for a second run. It doesn't look like it's going to make it. And the fielder from deep square leg collects, and they actually run through for a third run. And that was good running there, nonetheless.
That was a lovely shot. Very slow outfield here where we are, just underneath us in the media centre at Lords.
And it makes sense. We've had a lot of rain the last few days.
That's true. That's the first 3 of the game as well.
That is the first 3 of the game. It's not very often that you have 3s in matches. It normally does either run away for a 4 or you run for 2. But nonetheless, Tyson's also stolen the strike for the next over, which will be from the nursery end. Again, Shima Wright will continue. And it was a good over for her last time. Off her 1 over, she only went for the 2 runs. And again, we have 2 fielders out on the leg side, shorter boundary to Tyson as she bowls. Nice and floated down the pitch, and that was straight, and she managed to punch that one away past mid-on, sorry, and that's run away for 4.
Mid-on did just attempt some football skills by stopping it with her foot, but didn't quite manage it.
It's probably a good thing that she didn't quite connect with that. She went for the slide tackle of the ball. And the good thing is it didn't hit her leg, and it did run away for 4. So to save her shins, it did run away. That's Tyson on 10 runs off 11 deliveries faced. I think that was her first boundary.
I think so, yeah.
That was a good delivery, nice and floated from Shima Wright. But nonetheless, here she'll want to continue. Again, floated up. This has gone straight up in the air. And it's not caught by the mid-on fielder. They'll run through for a second delivery. She may have been put off there by, and I think that was Richards actually, at mid-on.
That was really tricky. So that was 2 fielders who we thought were going to collide. Obviously one of them called, didn't quite get the catch.
And it was the mid-wicket fielder who ran towards the mid-on fielder, who I believe was Richards, maybe put her off. The ball was high in the air, and she didn't manage to take the catch in the end. Nonetheless, Shima Wright continues. Here we are, floated, and that's just pushed into the offside, and they'll run through for a quick single just past the 30-yard circle. That brings the right-handed Kelly on strike, who's on 27 off 33. The MCC women's 55 for 2. And again, it is tricky when you have 2 fielders who look like they're going to collide.
Well, I genuinely thought they were then. It sounds like one of them did call, but didn't quite pull off the catch.
Wright continues, 4th ball of her over. This one slightly flatter, slightly straighter. And Kelly tries to paddle that one away into the leg side, but it doesn't go anywhere. It hits her leg, and it's picked up by the keeper. And the ball makes its way round to Shima Wright, the bowler. Again, 5th ball of her over. And she continues. This one's shorter on the offside, and it's placed into the offside wall, just short of the mid-off fielder, who was the same person that dropped the catch before. Bit of a wafty shot there, didn't quite commit to it. And they run through for a single. And for the final delivery of Wright's over, it brings the left-handed Tyson on strike, who's on 13 off 13 deliveries faced, 56 for 2 are the MCC women. And Wright continues for the final ball of her over. 2 fielders out on the leg side, 1 on the offside boundary as she bowls. This one floated on the offside. It was a full toss. It doesn't go anywhere. Missed by the left-handed batter, and it runs through to the keeper. That's the end of the 12th over. The MCC women's 56 for 2, Kelly 28 off 35, and Tyson 13 off 14 deliveries. That brings the end of my stint.
Thank you very much, Liam. I'm going to welcome Terry to the mic very soon. But yes, if you've just joined us, welcome to Armed Force Day here at Lords. MCC women won the toss. They are batting. They are 56 for 2 at the moment. Kelly 28 off 35 balls even. Tyson 13 off 14. We're going to see Richards come and bowl from the pavilion end. Terry, welcome. Good morning. How are you?
Better turn myself on, that might be a bonus. Thank you,
Yeah,
I'm good.
There we go, there, we've got you there. Richard's coming into bowl. Attempted paddle to the onside there, didn't quite pull it off.
You get the feeling
welcome
that...
along to the game.
Yeah, thank you. You get the feeling that the two at the crease now, Kelly and Tyson, are the key to the MCC and how they'll do, because they need to up the rate a bit, I think.
Yes, second ball from Richards coming in from the pavilion end. Attempted hit there, but straight through to the keeper.
Yeah, a little bit of a swipe from Kelly there, didn't make contact. It was an inviting one.
It was. Kelly 28 from 37 balls. The score is 56 for 2. They've got 8 overs left. Run rate is 4.5. Richards coming in for her 3rd ball of this over. Comes in bowls. That's a lovely drive. Straight to point. Oh, that's a catch.
Yep.
Straight to... and that's a wicket. Kelly goes 28 off 37.
It was just a moment of doubt there.
I wasn't even ready for that,
because wasn't sure if it was a bump ball or not, but no, straight to the fielder.
It looked like it was going to be a nice drive. I think she might have just timed that a bit too soon. Didn't quite get the timing. That was caught at point. 56 for 3.
And that's what happens when the pressure's on, I guess.
Absolutely.
Trying to force the run rate and going for shots that perhaps aren't there.
Yeah. We'll be welcoming Gallagher to the game. She'll be coming in, I think.
Yeah, Gallagher's the well, certainly on the scoreboard. Gallagher's the next one in.
Yes,
So,
UK Armed
Charlotte
Forces
Gallagher.
Cricket Association.
Being watched on the Forces News YouTube channel.
Oh yes, you can hear us on there, live streamed on YouTube. But if you are tuned in on the website, come and say hello. You can email us ballbyball@mcc.org.uk. MCC women 56 for 3 at the moment.
And Gallagher will probably be met at the crease by Tyson to just say, oh no, it looks like it's Kite coming in actually. They've just moved it around. Amelia Kite is actually coming in. And
Amelia Kite.
maybe there's a tactic here. Maybe Amelia Kite is somebody who can push the run rate along.
Yeah. Amelia Kite coming in for the MCC women. They are 56 for 3. 8 overs left. Richards halfway through her over. Tyson is the non-striker, left-handed Tyson. Richards bowling from the pavilion end. Currently conceded 22 runs from her 3.3 overs.
Should be eyeing up the shorter boundary.
Yeah,
I'm sure
she will be that.
that's covered off. We've got
3 actually.
deep
3.
extra cover, deep point and deep backward point. Trying to stop that from happening.
Richards coming in now for her 4th delivery of this over. Comes in, swipe and a miss there from Kite. Goes through to the keeper.
It's good
No
ball
run.
Good ball from Richards.
Yes.
Not too full. Tempting the drive.
Teasing them outside that off stump.
And the spaces are out there, especially in front of the grandstand. You've got a sweeper, a deep square, but there are
Richards coming
spaces.
in. Again, just slightly outside the off stump. No run there. Go through the field for you. Got a mid on, mid off. Point, square leg, cover, mid wicket. We've got 2 out on the leg side boundary as well. And a fine leg. Richards coming in for a final one. Kite just attempted to dig that one out. Not sure if she actually did get any contact. That's the end of Richards' over. 56 for 3 MCC women.
Another good over from Richards, that, especially to a new batter. Nothing down the leg side, nothing straight either to tempt Kite into driving it towards the tavern or mound stand and inviting her to drive it instead into the spaces. Didn't really time any of them, to be fair.
Great over from Richards. I think that was a wicket maiden, if I'm correct. Was it wicket maiden? Thank you, Ben. Shima Wright Still bowling now from the nursery end. 2 overs, and she's conceded 10 runs from her overs.
Yeah, I think she'll probably feel a little bit unlucky with that, because
Yeah.
there were a couple of opportunities in the first over that went begging.
She'll be bowling to the left-handed Tyson, who's on strike. Oh, flightier delivery. That's just been kind of pushed onto the onside. They'll get the 1 for it.
I think Rebecca Tyson took that off her chin, that particular ball.
Ah, there's no ball, so that's a free hit. No ball because of the height, I assume. This one's a free hit. Amelia Kite on strike for the free hit, which umpire has just signalled as well. 58 for 3 here at Lord's, MCC Women. It's a free hit with Amelia Kite on strike. Still yet to score. Right, coming into the attack. That's just been pushed out into the offside, straight to cover fielder. They won't get any runs for that.
Kite probably want that delivery again. I think her eyes lit up when it was in front of her, but she didn't catch it enough.
Third ball. Swipe and a miss from Kite. Lovely line from Shima right there. Bowling quite tight. Her line of length has been quite consistent. Flighted delivery there, driven straight back to the bowler.
Yeah, possibly another missed opportunity. Amelia Kite will feel there. It was full.
Yeah.
Turned it into a full toss, but couldn't get it past right at the bowler's end.
Right, coming in for her 4th delivery. Flighted delivery, that's just been hit to the onside. They're going to go for 2. They'll comfortably get those 2 runs.
It's another high one, so quizzical looks possibly by the batsman towards the umpire.
Just seeing if that's another no ball,
yeah.
Terry.
Haven't seen an indication yet, so I presume not, but it was a high one.
Yeah, right's got to be careful with that flight.
Just changing fielding positions.
2 balls left of her over from the nursery end.
Fielder measuring the short fine leg.
Again, Amelia Kite looking quite frustrated with that. Didn't quite get her feet in the position she wanted, I think.
She spun away in annoyance there, didn't she?
Yeah, didn't time it that well. Final ball of this over. Right, comes in. That's just been pushed into the offside. 2 mid-off. They'll take the 1. 60 for 3 at the end of that over. Tyson on 14 off 15 deliveries. Amelia Kite 3 off 9. 61 for 3 here at Lord's for MCC Women.
Still a lovely day here at Lord's. The lower tavern stand at least is filling up nicely.
Busy, isn't it? I think there's quite a few schools here today, Terry. We bumped into a few when we were on our walk here.
Enjoying the day so far, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Probably not as much as those in the executive boxes away to the grandstand on the right.
It's quite fancy.
It is.
Quite fancy schmancy in there.
I've seen pictures.
Have you? 6 overs left here, MCC Women. Run rate at the moment 4.4. Have a look at that scorecard that we've got up on the screens. Our opening bowlers. Pot Geiger. Oh, it's gone now. I can't read it to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My memory's not that good that I can remember all of that. But they did have a tight opening spell from them too.
Yeah, Pot Geiger was the pick of the bowlers the last time these two sides met last year.
I think we're going to see one of our opening bowlers come back on from the pavilion end. I think it might be Melanie Vegas coming back on, who bowled excellently. 2 overs, only went for 3 runs. She's coming back into the attack from the pavilion end. She comes in to bowl to Amelia Kite on strike. That's just been pushed back to mid-on. They're going to take the single. Oh, it's close, it's close. That looked like a direct hit.
It was. Umpire remains unmoved.
Yeah,
I think
umpires.
I get the feeling that might have been the wrong end to throw to, because
Yeah,
Tyson set off quite late
that was really strong fielding
towards the
from
nursery end.
the mid-off fielder. Direct hit. Could have been close, but they're safe for now. 62 for 3. Left-handed Tyson on strike. Melanie Vaggers coming in for her second delivery. Bowling for the first time to Tyson. She runs into bowl. Tyson on strike. Just push that onto the offside. Straight to the cover fielder. No run there.
Didn't quite get enough of that,
No.
Tyson, but with just short of 6 overs left, it's going to need to go some to match
Yeah,
last year's total.
Pick up a bit of momentum here. Tyson coming into bowl. Slightly short delivery, that's just been pushed onto the onside. Fielder running down to the boundary near us here at the media box. I think they're going to get 2 for that. Was it 2?
Might have even been 3 actually. Yeah, but, punched into the space.
It's a very slow outfield here, Terry.
Down here, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yourself and Liam mentioned about the rain we've had.
Yeah.
Certainly slowed up this outfield.
Tyson on strike. It's just been pushed out into the other side. We get a run for that. 65 for 3. Opening bowler Vaggers back into the attack. Bowling quite tight line lengths. Keeping that run rate low. That's why I assume they brought it back into the attack. That's just been cut away. Straight to the point fielder. They'll get a single. Quick run in between these two. Good run in between Amelia Kite and Tyson here at Lords.
Yeah,
66 for 3.
Needs to be. I think, again, didn't quite time that. Just hoping to punch it through. Point, but didn't manage. And so the scampering quick singles have been important for MCC so far.
Absolutely. Tyson looking confident, assessing the field as she goes back to the wicket. Taps down her bat. Vaggers coming in for her final ball of this over. Fuller delivery. Attempted. I think she wanted to dig that one out, but missed it. Went straight through to the keeper. It'll be a dot ball. It's the end of the over. 66 for 3.
Yeah, I sometimes wonder whether or not, especially when batsmen are eyeing up that shorter boundary.
Yes,
whether or not
that
that, yeah, whether or not that is an off-putting thing, rather because they're trying perhaps too often to punch it in that area because it is the shorter boundary, and maybe missing out on the opportunity because of that.
Absolutely. Tyson on 17 off 18 delivery, she's done very well. Amelia Kite 5 off 12, supporting Tyson very well out there. MCC women 66 for 2. Sian Kelly was our opening batter, 28. Then we had Delang come in for 2. Latifi scored 8. And Tyson and Kite in now. We've got Sales back into the attack from the nursery end. Quite inconsistent with her line and lengths, but let's see how she does for her third over of the game. Kite on strike. Float. Oof. Wide ball's gone, floated down the leg side. Umpire signals wide.
The consistency you mentioned there for all to see in the first ball.
I think she pitched it right, but it just floated down the leg side and fortunately was a wide. Comes in for a second ball. A lot better, that one. Oof. That could have been a catch.
Catching opportunity. I mean, it was a sharp one.
Drop catch there. Went straight back to the bowler. Unfortunately, dropped it.
I mentioned about the batters being a little bit frustrated. The bowlers as well. And Sales is obviously also keen that she doesn't let any loose ones on the onside.
Sales coming in for her third ball. Oh, that's in the air. Right, that's taken. That is taken, and Amelia Kite is out. Caught at mid-on. First wicket for Sales. Amelia Kite didn't quite time that. Played it a bit too soon. And taken comfortably by the fielder.
Vaggers was the fielder at mid-wicket. Yeah, comfortable catch. Although there is a little bit of pressure to make sure that she bagged it. But, no mistake. And MCC women, I would venture to suggest, are up against it a little bit here.
They are a little bit, yeah. 67 for 4. Unfortunately, with a run rate that's quite low, your intent is just to hit and get runs at this point, but yeah, not quite. Yeah, Vaggers taking the hit. First wicket for Sales as well. MCC women 67 for 4. Tyson's still out there, 17 off 18 balls. see who comes into the attack now. It looks like it might be Charlotte Gallagher, the captain potentially. What do we think, Terry?
Well, that's well. I got that wrong last time, so I'm hedging the bets a little bit till she gets out there. But Gallagher certainly the next name on the board. Charlotte Gallagher.
Let's have a look. Well, we did hear something
There we are. The scoreboard has now confirmed
yes,
it.
it is. We've got the captain coming in now of the MCC women's team. Charlotte Gallagher coming in to bat alongside Tyson.
We'll need a captain's innings, won't we?
Yes, we will. Rebecca Tyson out there, 17 off 18 balls.
Got to give credit, I think, to the opening bowlers from to put the pressure on the MCC. They've certainly managed that.
They kept it quite tight, didn't they? Those opening
Since
spell.
then, I think that's told because you said before, just broke off.
Sales coming in, slightly shorter ball. It's just been pushed into the offside. They'll get one for it, and Gallagher already off the mark.
And I think the MCC really haven't punished, as you said before, some sort of bowling that the odd poor delivery hasn't really been as punished as much as they'd have hoped. It's all down to the pressure that's been put on them.
Rebecca Tyson, left-hander on strike. Sales coming in for her fourth delivery. Slightly shorter. It's been driven through the offside, straight to mid-off.
Was that another double bounce, that one?
Yeah, I think so. Again, another no ball there. Umpire signals a free hit. Sales struggling to find her line and length, I think. It can be quite difficult though. Yeah. This is a free hit. Captain Charlotte Gallagher on strike for the free hit. That.
I think that slipped out of hand. She's trying to put a bit more of a rip on the ball as it leaves her hand, and that one came out the top. And
a lot of flight on that. Another no ball there. Sales looking quite disheartened. Umpire signals another no ball there because of height.
Was that a free hit anyway?
I think that's a free hit.
Do you get double free hits for that?
Double free hit! Double free hit!
I don't think I've ever seen one.
Well, Charlotte Gallagher on strike now for the second free hit. It's just hit that straight to cover fielder. They won't get anything for it.
So I presume this one still is.
Sales into the attack. 2 balls left of her over. 71 for 4 here at Lord's. Much better delivery, better length, driven by Charlotte Gallagher. Mid-off makes its way around to do the fielding. They just get the 1 for it.
It's good backing up.
Yeah, it was. Final ball of this over before I hand over. Tyson on strike. Sales coming in for her last ball of this over. That's just been striked through the offside. Again, very slow there on the outfield. They'll get 2 quite comfortably.
It was a good cut. I'm sure she would have hoped for slightly more reward for that shot.
74 for 4 here. I am going to hand over to Ben, I think. Yes, I welcome back Ben. I'll leave you in the capable hands of.
Thank you, Amber. It's 74 for 4 as we approach the final 4 overs of the innings. I think the MCC will be looking for some big runs in the next 4 overs, Ben.
Yeah, they certainly will. And if they get there, it's going to be due in no small part to Tyson, who's looked very fluent, 20 off 20. She was dropped a few overs ago when she was on 11, and we'll see how costly that turns out to be. But at the moment, I think the fielding side will be very pleased to keep them pretty well pinned down.
You'd make them favourites at the moment, but of course it can change very quickly, especially if either Gallagher or Tyson get in the groove. It's Gallagher who's on strike at the nursery end, and Baggers will continue in the pavilion. Comes up to bowl. Just attempted drive, but didn't really go through with it. Gallagher, she's only faced the 5 balls, which it doesn't help.
Footwork, Terry, just stuck on the crease, just kind of stroking it from the crease without moving to the line with the ball. I don't think.
Second ball Vegas is over. Comes in, bowls. A little fuller. Gallagher coming to the pitch a bit, punches it back towards the bowler. And, just towards cover, but again, no run.
I think one issue the Forces might have is how to get through these next 3 overs, but I'll come back to that in a minute, Terry.
As Vegas comes into bowl again. A little bit short of that one and just clipped to square leg, and fielder comes in, just the one run. Standard moves on to 75. But, the MCC need a few boundaries here. Cover at deep square leg. As Vegas comes in again. This time bowling to Tyson, the left-hander, clips it away. It's covered at the sweeper in front of the grandstand. It's a long throw, and neither Gallagher or Tyson were ready, and possibly feel they could have sneaked another run there.
Just a little bit short and swung away. It was in the air for quite a long time, but the shot was on because the field is very deep there, deep mid-wicket. The issue they may have is with who's going to bowl from the other end.
So Vegas comes in, bowls again. Gallagher didn't really get enough of that, but still managed to punch it back towards mid-wicket, and it's just the one run again.
Yeah, playing with, again, not an awful lot of foot movement there, but playing it with very soft hands and just placing the ball and running, which is very sensible. It's easy to forget soft hands when in the closing overs of an innings when you're trying to accelerate.
Final ball of Vegas' 4th over. 11 runs from it so far, and it'll be just the 11 runs as Tyson just punches it back to the bowler. And we've had our 17th over completed. Score is 77 for 4 for the MCC women's, and
I do wonder if we'll see Sales again. She bowled a couple of beanies really as she was trying to get a bit of extra purchase on the ball and just lost her action a little bit. I think it would be an act of cruelty to ask her to bowl the 4th over.
I think she's going to, though. I think, asking Sales to get back in there and complete her 4th over. So she will hear from this nursery end. Gallagher will face relatively new batter, and the ball's faced.
Mid off his right back.
Yeah. It's a full toss. Not really punished as it's punched into square leg, fielded, just the one run.
Well, Gallagher doing exactly the right thing. Had a bit of time to play that shot because it was back of the length. Just tapped the ball away on the leg side where the field is deep. Hand the strike back to Tyson. Good batting.
Second ball from Sales' last over is towards Tyson. It's a good ball, actually. Quite a bit of bounce on that, and Tyson not able to do anything other than paddle it back to the bowler.
He's almost played defensively off the splice. I think the ball got up a bit more than perhaps Tyson anticipated, but played it safely.
Sales comes in. Once more, it's slightly fuller down the leg side, clipped by Tyson. Just the one run. Down towards a good square leg, I think, but not the number of runs that the MCC need. So Sales, who was probably a little bit under pressure for this last over, has done quite well. Ball a little bit short, but again can only be punched away towards mid-wicket, and no run at all there.
I think about 120 might be a par score here. There has been reasonable pace and carry when the ball is new, but a little bit less of it now. Plus, with the slowness of the outfield, about 120 I think would be competitive if they get there.
Well, 115 was a score here last year as they scamper through for a single. 5th ball of the over. 80 for 4 now the score. With, after this ball, only 2 overs remaining, so 40 runs off the final 2 is will be going some. Sales comes in for a last ball, and there's an extra run to the total. It spoilt her over really because she'd recovered well from her 3rd over, Sales, but that one just a little bit loose down the leg side.
Yes, that's a pity. It was a much better over up to that point, but again just losing the radar a little bit on the follow through, falling away a little bit to the leg side after releasing the ball.
keen for Tyson, the left-hander, not to punish her down the leg side in front of the shorter boundary. So attempts final ball once more. This one's straighter and a little bit shorter, and Tyson can't punish that at all. And that was a good recovery ball.
Yeah.
It's given us a wide, is that?
Yeah, it was almost halfway down the track and quite wide down the leg side.
I thought it was a good ball as well when it left.
And I think Tyson was through the shots quite early, which is why the ball paddled down to the fine leg fielder in the 30-yard circle for no run.
It's another full one. This one a little bit straighter, and Tyson can't punish that. And that is the final ball of the Sales 4th over, and it's 82 for 4 here with 2 overs left.
Well, Tyson almost yorked herself going after that last delivery, which is very full on leg stump. 82 for 4. It doesn't feel like enough runs, but with the slowness of the outfield, you never know. But they do need a couple of big overs here.
There could be fireworks here, Ben, for the last couple.
12 deliveries left in the innings. Gallagher will be on strike. And unfortunately, 6 of those 12 remaining deliveries will be bowled by the Force's best bowler.
Comfortably the final over of Potgieter's 4th. And she'll be keen to continue where she left off. Only 7 runs off her 3 overs so far. Comfortably the best bowling figures, I think. And, so Gallagher has got to achieve something that up to this point none of the MCC batters have been able to do, and that's get Potgieter away. She comes up for a first over of a final over. It's paddled away a little, just a little dink down towards short third man, collected and fielded back. There's a couple there, I think.
That's really nicely played from Gallagher, just playing the shot very, very late, just nudging it very, very fine down to third man. Cool head under pressure from Gallagher, I would say.
And it was a slower delivery, so she couldn't get as much purchase perhaps as she wanted to, Gallagher, but as you say, guided it for a couple. Second ball of the over. Potgieter comes in, delivers. So, short one, and it's punished down the deep square, and that's a 6, first 6 of the innings.
Yeah, full down the leg side, and beautiful timing there from Gallagher. It was almost a golf swing, and that was hit with the greatest of ease into the tavern stand for the first 6 of the day.
Just a little bit short from Potgieter, that one. Punished by Gallagher. I said they needed fireworks, and it's started in that vein. Next delivery a little bit fuller, punched in towards it. Extra cover, just with the single.
This is a very handy little knock from Gallagher.
Mid-wicket,
15 or 14 now.
Got my bearings wrong, it was mid-wicket. Extra covers. Potgieter just put a bit more into that, pitched it up a little bit more. Gallagher couldn't do more than just get a single, so the responsibility falls on Tyson, currently 21 of 25. Potgieter comes in for her 4th ball of the final over. Punched back towards the bowler, then past the bowler, but that's as far as it went really. Protected by cover, and it's no run. 91 for 4. The first target for MCC will be to get to that 100 if they can. 2 balls left of this over. Potgieter comes in, bowls. Tyson just punches it again, another single.
Just nudged just a little bit short of mid-on there. Good running, and we have questioned some of the calls, haven't we? Some of the running between the wicket, but that's good understanding here from Gallagher and Tyson. They've got 6 wickets in hand, and they need to at least take singles from somewhere if the boundary ball is none.
Final ball of Potgieter's spell. She comes in, delivers. So, punched away. That's a good shot this time, going towards deep extra cover. Fielded, just with the 1 run again. And finishes Potgieter's spell. Slightly damaged that final over from what was otherwise a very good 3 over spell. 4 for 18 she finishes.
Still very good set of figures, and you can tell that there's a lot of quality and a lot of experience there. But this is a really handy little partnership here from Gallagher and Tyson. I'm not sure how many balls they've been together, but this partnership is now worth 26, and Gallagher's going at better than a run a ball and has done pretty much from the get-go.
Well, Polkadder has just almost matched what she got this time last year. A wicket short. She got 18 runs off her 4-over spell last year as well, was the pick of the bowlers.
11 from the last over.
Yeah,
there you go. So acceleration at just the right time. Now, Wright in her previous overs has tended to be quite full.
That is up there, and that's caught behind.
Oh, well,
lovely
that's
delivery
a
from Wright.
breakthrough.
Yeah.
Gallagher was going so well there.
Lovely delivery from Wright. Just floated up a bit more, pitched just outside off stump, and Gallagher trying to punch it through, nicked it, and good catch behind the stumps.
Yeah, good bowling from Wright. Just a teasing length full and just floating it right up there. A lot of spinners in the closing overs of an innings are a little bit afraid to toss the ball right up in case they get belted back over their heads. But Wright really backing herself there, and that's a crucial breakthrough because Gallagher was going very, very well. They hit a glorious 6 over the tap-in stand earlier in the innings, but unfortunately she's gone for 16, 93 for 5, and Tyson is at the other end. It's a rotten time for anyone to come into an innings when you've only got 4 or 5 balls to face. Really, you've just got to try and get the strike back to the other batter if you possibly can.
Gallagher 16 off 16 was a good rate, and just try to punch it through that offside. It's too full for that. It's been the victim of a good delivery from Wright. Let's see who's coming in. It's on the list. It's Havel, and that's who it is. It's, is that Cavell? Kirsty Cavell?
Kirsty Cavell, yep, that's
They've
right.
got Havel on the board, but we've got Cavell down here.
Well, if anybody can correct us on that, you can email the commentary team on ballbyball@lords.org and tell us if we're right or if the scoreboard is right. And a reminder that you can listen to our commentary also on the Forces News YouTube channel, where you also have live pictures. And we're broadcasting live on the Lords website as well.
Well, the official card we have says Cavell as well, so I'm going with that.
I think that's a fair shout. 5 balls left.
Well, comes in and delivers, and it's an almost identical ball to the one that got Gallagher, and Cavell couldn't guide it away. The offside, it's a dot ball.
I wonder if Havel's brave enough to try a reverse sweep. The ball is on if it's out there because there's nobody protracting that boundary.
So went for the drive instead. It's a much fuller delivery from Wright. Cavell couldn't get that away again, and it's another dot ball. This is a good over from Wright.
It's a bit of an ambitious shot to attempt, particularly when the ball is full. But you've got 5 wickets in hand, you might as well have a go at this stage.
Again, another full one. This time, Cavell does manage to punch it through the offside towards deep point. It'll just be the single, though.
Really good bowling from Wright. Very accurate, good flight. I've not seen much evidence of turn, but if you're accurate and you're flighting the ball well, particularly in the closing overs of an innings, that's still going to cause problems.
Got Tyson on strike. Should we going to try and punch it through, and drives instead. Only picks out. Just recovering. Scamper through for a single.
Yeah, it's good fielding. That ball was going pretty quickly, and fielder at cover point, getting her body behind it. You don't want to go forward to a ball like that. Just get something behind it and stop it getting through the 30-yard circle.
Should be smiling bravely even if it hurt that.
Yeah, so it might sting a little bit, Terry.
As Wright comes in for their final ball of the innings. Delivers it this time. Cavell coming to the pitch and just dropped here.
Dropped by Connie Cant.
Mid-off, well, between sort of mid-off and cover, and can't pick up the final wicket off the final ball, but it's the innings is completed. MCC can't make the 100. It's 97 for 5, and I think, I mean, we'd have to obviously wait and see to see how the next innings pans out, but you get the feeling that's not enough.
It shouldn't be enough, Terry, even with the slowness of the outfield, which we've talked about before. It is a slowish pitch once the ball gets a little bit older. I think Havel there just a little bit surprised because Wright changed her line. That ball was much further outside the off stump, whereas the previous ones have been very much on the line of the stumps. And just not quite timed. The shot was certainly on, but it wasn't quite timed.
Brave over
It
from
shouldn't
Wright,
be
wasn't
enough, but it might be.
it? Brave over from Wright, that final over, because she would have expected the MCC to go after her a little bit to try and get the scoreboard ticking over a lot more than it has been, and so I'd say every single delivery was on the mark, and always got a wicket for it as well.
Yes, that's excellent bowling under pressure. You're always under pressure bowling the closing overs of an innings, even if the run rate's been hovering around an over as it has done for most of the innings. But if someone offered you as a fielding side 97 of 20 overs, you'd say, yeah, we'll have that, thank you very much. Scoring rate of just a tad under 5 and over required, and this will move on pretty sharply. The interval will only be about 10 minutes, and then the forces will be chasing 98 off 20 overs.
I've just got to check out. My eyesight might be failing, and absolutely, almost certainly is. But are those stumps red, white, and blue? Check the binoculars, Ben. It's a lovely touch if it is.
They look like MCC stumps.
Oh, okay.
I think they're the navy blue with red bars. That's what it looks like to me.
Told you my eyesight was failing, didn't I?
It's quite similar to the colours of the Lord's Out, which is just being advertised on the scoreboard now.
But the Lords is filling up quite nicely, actually. There's a few more bodies in the grandstand, or to our right-hand side, the lower tier. The tapping stand is... The lower tapping stand is looking almost full. The extra bodies in and around the Edrich as well.
This is the optimum time to come, Terry, because the forecast, in fact, is getting better and better every time I check it. Every time 2 days ago, it looked like the heavens were going to open more or less at the exact time the first of these 3 matches was going to begin. And now the bad weather seems to be getting later and later and later, so it's raising my hopes that we'll miss St John's Wood completely, or only just we might catch the tail end of something.
Well, let's hope that the weather gods can intervene from what was originally scheduled to be a little bit of a damp one this afternoon from about 2 o'clock on.
Yeah, it did look that way, but we've got away with it a little bit at Lord's. I don't know if any of our listeners were tuning in to Middlesex's match in the Championship earlier this season. They were playing against Notts, and they must have lost at least 2 to 2.5 out of their 4 days to rain, and then Notts declared, and Middlesex had to get
And welcome back to, welcome to Lord's. You are at Lord's. Thank you for watching wherever you are around the world. Do keep the comments coming in. I hope you're enjoying the sunny side of Lord's that we weren't expecting today for the UK Armed Forces women against the MCC. The MCC have set the military side 98 to win, so they got 97 for 5. And I'm delighted to be joined by former Navy and UKAF player, Lieutenant Commander Hazel Garton, also a golf player. I think I should mention that as well. Fresh from winning the Inter-Services Golf as well, rescheduled one. But Hazel, you've not had this sort of, I don't think had the sort of luck to play on the main pitch, but you have played on the nursery pitch here. But you're obviously still involved with cricket. You're a massive player for UK Armed Forces. So first of all, how lovely is it to see the women's game here?
Oh, it's just fantastic. I mean, we were really honoured last year to be invited for the first event and to sort of perform well and really play in the spirit of cricket, and then get that invite back was just fantastic. So I'm here in my managerial capacity rather than a player. So I'm really jealous of the 12 that got on the pitch today. But
have them here too.
Yeah, absolutely. We play a lot of the MCC players, 2 or 3 times a year in different guises, whether that's for clubs or whether it's for Navy or UK Armed Forces matches. So actually, we know quite a lot of them really quite well. So it gives us a real opportunity to challenge ourselves against some really good and really experienced players that have, done senior county fixtures. And I believe there's an Afghan all-rounder in the side for the MCC today. So it's a real privilege to play against a really competitive opposition here at Lords.
Let's talk about the game itself. I think the MCC also batted first and set Dean in that. So I say only 97, but very gettable total.
It's gone really well in what we have played against Cambridge last week, so I'm really positive about the chances for the team, and obviously that short boundary is very alluring, so hopefully we'll be able to find it a few times and get over the line. But a score on the board is a score on the board, and we'll see what the pressure does.
There are names in that lineup, in that UKAF lineup. The Count sisters for a start. Connie obviously captaining. Vaggers you've got. There are some names missing. Lou Worsford obviously is. There are some names missing, but you've still got a really good dearth of military players to pull on.
Yeah, definitely, and we're really hoping to grow the game at all levels, but certainly at a grassroots level through to the individual service side, so that we can get the very best players on here on the pitch as much as possible. And nothing, makes me more proud than seeing a mix of all 3 services being on the pitch today, which is something we didn't quite achieve last year, but we've got there this year, which is really fantastic.
97, like I said, it's totally gettable, and we know that the UK Armed Forces could do a higher total last year. But do you think they'll come out all guns firing, or are they a bit more measured in their approach?
I think that's our plan, is to go early in the power play and get ahead of the rate as much as we can, and then we'll just control it from there. She says confidently, stood on the boundary edge, but that's the game plan: is get us ahead of the rate early, and then and see what happens.
And are you going to be hanging around to watch the men's game? Are you excited about seeing? I know the Navy didn't do brilliantly against the RAF last Friday, so if you're a Navy hat on, yep. But from a UKAF point of view, really good to stick around and maybe watch the men's matches as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We intend to be here for the rest of the day. Some of our COs and RSMs and EWOs have been invited to come and watch today, so I'm sure a lot of the players will be going to thank them for their support as well in the interim, hopefully with a glass of fizz at the other end.
Well, thank you very much, Hazel. Thank you for joining us. And Hazel, of course, is the manager of the UK Armed Forces women's team, but a former player, a former star when it comes to UKAF and Navy cricket. And as you heard then, we will be staying here live for the men's matches. You'll see the Army play the Navy at 1 o'clock, and then the Army play the RAF in what will be the final at 4 o'clock. Fingers crossed the weather will stay good for that. Join us later and keep with us.
Which means that the Armed Forces Cricket Association will be coming out to bat in a few moments, and they're chasing a target of 98 in 20 overs set by the MCC. The MCC struggled for fluency early on. They did get some momentum with the batting of Tyson and Gallagher and Kelly, but Gallagher, unfortunately, the last batter to be dismissed in the last over with 5 deliveries remaining. Seema Wright, the spinner, just putting the ball out a little bit wider of off stump than her previous deliveries, tossing the ball up, and Gallagher caught on the drive. And I wonder if that possibly cost a few runs in the back end of the innings. 97 for 5, it doesn't feel like enough, but it has been quite a slow outfield. It's a fairly slow pitch. We've seen a little bit less bounce and carry as the ball gets a bit older. It's not the quickest of Lord's surfaces, but there is a short boundary going out to the tavern stand, which is to the left of our commentary position here from the media centre. So you would think 97 runs isn't enough, but it might be. So you're listening to Ben Feasey, and I am joined in the summarisers chair by Avinash Shahjani.
Hello there. Yes, I think you're absolutely right. That loss of the captain's wicket came just at the wrong time, with just a few balls left, and the new batter just couldn't get going, because until then Gallagher and Tyson were going really well, and I think we could have probably added another 10 to 15 runs had they managed to stay together.
Yeah, oh certainly. Gallagher played an absolutely gorgeous pickup shot over deep square leg, made the 1-6 of the innings, made it look so easy, and that's exquisite timing.
Exactly, and it makes me wonder whether perhaps she should have considered coming in a little earlier, because once she and Tyson were together at the wicket, they were really going strong.
Well, the umpires are coming back out to the middle. And it's the sun. We have been a little bit nervous about the weather forecast today, Avinash, but the sun is still out, the sky is still blue, the clouds are still fluffy and white, and long may that continue.
It's a lovely day here at Lord's, and I'm sure that we're going to be okay.
Well, hope so.
The MCC making their way out, the fielders, as we await the British Forces batters.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if the MCC go for all-out attack, or just have ultra-defensive fields. I mean, the half Aussie and some half Australian. I would be tempted to go for all-out attack and just risk it and try and get the early wickets to put the pressure on.
I think in this sort of situation, containment doesn't work really, because the battlers will soon pick up on that and just go for it.
Yes, it's a tricky conundrum when you haven't got that many runs, and so that's something that Charlotte Gallagher, the MCC captain, will have to consider as the Forces batters come out. It's going to be Kite to bowl the first over, who batted right at the back end of the MCC innings. And what have we got? We actually don't have any slips at all, so I've got that wrong, haven't I?
I think we've got, is it Connie Cant who's going to be opening the batting?
Yeah, Connie Cant is on strike. She's got quite easy to spot actually, because she's got quite a distinctive shade of red hair. And this is a defensive field. We've got a third man. We've got a deep square leg. We've got three fielders protecting the shorter boundary on the leg side. Square leg, mid wicket, mid on. And then on the other side we've got mid off, short extra cover, and a point. And it's going to be Connie Cant facing. Dean is the other batter at the non-striker's end. And Connie Cant is going to be facing the bowling of Kite, Amelia Kite, coming in from the pavilion end. And there's just going to be a moment while the umpire signals to the scorers to make sure that they're ready. And we're underway now. Kite, quite a long run up, is coming up to the wicket now, bowling quite wide of the crease, and this is outside the line of off stump, and that's a play and a miss outside the off stump, but might have got a tiny bit of bat on it. We'll check for the signal. That's going down to third man. They'll certainly have time for two, and that's all they're going to get. Now, was that a nick or was that a play and a miss? Well, no signal from the umpire, so I can only assume that it was hit, but nothing's come up on the scoreboard. But that they certainly ran two in any case. And Kite is running up to the wicket now, bowling to Cant, and that is short, and that's swung over square leg, and that's gone all the way for six. That smashed into the Cinch advertising hoardings just underneath the shadow of Old Father Time, so it was quite a flat hit and not that far away from deep square leg actually, but she went through with a shot, and that takes Cant on to 8. So those 2 runs earlier were off an outside edge, but no doubt at all about that shot. Fantastic start here for the Forces, chasing what we suspect is a fairly modest total, and the MCC need wickets. Kite, third delivery, running up to the wicket now and bowls, and this is a slightly fuller ball. This is hit straight back to the bowler by Cant, and there's no run. Bright start here for the UK Armed Forces. 8 runs coming already, 3 overs left to bowl. The sun's still shining here at Lord's, and we're on schedule to complete this match in the allotted time before we move on to the Army versus the Navy. That's the second of our matches, which will take place early this afternoon. This ball is just played out to point in the offside, and there's no run. 2 deliveries remaining the over. A reminder that you can listen to our commentary both on the Lord's website and the Forces News YouTube channel. And this is played with an inside edge, and it's gone behind square on the leg side, not where the batter intended, who was looking to stroke that to cover, but it's going to be 1 run nonetheless. That ball just squeezed out between the underside of the bat and the pad and going out to backward square leg. So this is going to be the first delivery for Dean, Lieutenant Dean. And we've got one delivery in the over remaining. Got a fielder at deep square leg in case we get a short ball here. And this is played well in front of square leg. This is a fuller delivery on the line of leg stump or just outside, and that has been smashed with a cross-batted swipe through to mid-wicket for 4 runs. And the forces are doing this in a hurry, and I'm struggling to see how the MCC can defend this total, Avinash.
Yes, an incredible first over, really. I mean, Connie Kant, I think she's the captain, isn't she? And really leading from the front, so to speak. And in fact, I think she'll be on strike at the other end for the next over as well. She clearly means business here. She's already on 9 not out, and Dean with that boundary off the only delivery that she's faced in that over. She's 4 not out. A very, very good start for the armed forces.
Well, it's going to be Hayley Arrell bowling from the nursery end. And it's important to remember that even when you're chasing a small total, you still want to get off to a good start. And it just settles the nerves in the dressing room of the batters that are going to come in next. And Kant has gone after some fairly loose deliveries, and had she left that alone, that just increases the tension a little bit. But that tension is being dispelled because of the boldness with the way Kant and Dean have gone about their batting so far.
Looks like it's Hayley Arrell.
Yes.
Coming into bowl from the nursery end.
And we'll take you through the field in just a moment as Arrell comes past the wicket now and bowls. This is outside the line of off stump, and that's an attempted cover drive by Kant. Doesn't connect. The ball's a little bit close to her for that shot, and there's no run. MCC sticking with quite a defensive field. We've got a mid-on, mid-wicket, deep square leg, point, cover point, short extra cover mid-off, and this is hit to point. No, an attempted hit to point, but actually there's no contact and the ball goes through to the keeper and there's no run. So I think we see the tactic here. It's just going to be pushed wide outside of off stump to encourage the hit to the shorter boundary.
I'm just wondering if the umpire signalled a wide there. There was some signal, I think it was.
Well, you've got to keep it within that blue line, which is about a yard outside the stumps, and that was within the blue line, but it was certainly offering width outside the off stump. That was driven out into the covers and there's no run. So Arrell just trying to encourage the batters to chase the offside stroke. That's very wide. That's got to be wide surely, and that's being signalled as such. I do think you'd need a much bigger total than 97 for this kind of tactic to work, even if you were keeping it within the blue line. So plenty for the MCC to think about as Arrell runs up to the wicket now and bowls. This is a fuller delivery, and that's played defensively. That's going to be picked up at short extra cover. And there's no run. Healthy run rate though. 15 without loss. We're still in the second over, chasing 98. Of course, the Forces winning this fixture by 6 wickets last season. As Arrell comes up to the wicket now and bowls. This is down the leg side, and it's pulled, an attempted pull down to square leg, but it's missed. It's gone through to the keeper.
And a wide as well.
Yeah, wide signalled. And to some extent, I think this is tactics to push the ball out wide, but that was just a loose delivery. I think that was just a little bit of nerves. This is a loose delivery. This is a leading edge. It's gone high in the air. It's an attempted hoik onto the leg side, but fortunately for Kant, the ball went pretty much straight over her head. It was too far away for the keeper to get to, and there was no other fielder in any position to take that. So that was a fortuitous single, but first genuinely loose stroke of the innings. So Dean facing now as Arrell comes up to the wicket now and bowls. That's wide down the leg side, and that's an easy one to call, I'm afraid. Arrell just losing her radar a little bit. I assume she's trying to use the slope to get the ball to move away. to the offside, but that was too far down leg for the slope to really come into play and trouble the batter. That's an attempted drive. That's a play and a miss. The ball, well, in fact, the ball squirts off an outside edge, and it's picked up inside third man. And there's just one run added to the total, so that takes us on to 19 without loss. Kant moves on to 10. Dean has 4. And here comes Arrol. Bowling to Kant. This is down a leg side. It's helped down to deep square leg. There is a fielder out there, so it's only going to be 1. And that takes us to the end of the second over, and we're going at exactly 10 and over, 20 without loss. And I'd be a bit surprised if we were still commentating after the 19.
I'm not so sure that that was any kind of tactical bowling by Arrol. I think it's just nerves, first over, a bit inconsistent, you know, wide of the stumps on either side, really, with a couple of good length deliveries thrown in. So I think it was probably just that, really. She has a pretty square on action as she goes past the umpire. I think that's all that was.
Well, it's going to be Kite to continue flying the flag for the MCC from the pavilion end. Bowling to Kant, who's got off to a really bright and breezy start on 11. Just the one loose stroke in the previous over where she attempted a pull shot and got a big top edge that went straight up in the air, but landed well short of the keeper and too far away from any of the other fielders to be a chance. We've got 2 fielders right on the ropes on the shorter boundary on the leg side. One's at deep square leg, one's at deep mid wicket, as Kite comes up to the wicket now and bowls, and this is on the offside. It's hit straight to mid off, and that's a comfortable catch. That was a loose shot there from Kant, hit straight to mid off. It was a loose cross batted sort of shot. I'm not sure she hit it where she intended, and the first Armed Forces wicket has fallen. It's 20 for 1.
Yes, I think a bit of rush of blood there. I mean, the ball was, she was trying to hit the ball onto the onside. It wasn't there for that, and then ended up just hitting it to mid off for a relatively easy catch.
Yes, I think if you're fielding at mid off and you're not defending that many runs and someone hits that to you, 99 times out of 100 you'd say thank you very much.
Yes, it's a shame that, because she was going really well in the first over and seemed to have her eye in quite quickly.
So we think this might be... Oh, Potgieter. So Potgieter's coming. She is an all-rounder. She was. She did perform very well with the ball. 4 overs for 18, if I remember correctly. And she's coming in at 3. She's certainly one of the more experienced players, if not the most experienced player in this Forces event.
She's scored well over 7,000 runs for the Army and the Armed Forces, and first female player to reach 100 caps for the Army.
No. So the Armed Forces 11 looking very much to the experience of Potgieter to keep the momentum going after the early loss of Kant. They are 20 for 1. They're well over the required rate, but the runs still have to be scored. There'll still be some nerves in the Forces dressing room as Kite comes up to the wicket now and bowls. That's outside the off stump, and Potgieter allows that to go through. One of the luxuries, of course, that the Forces have is they've got time to get these runs because of the bright start that we've had. 20 for 1 currently, and we're only in third.
Very good cushion there for them.
Kite quite wide of the crease, up to the wicket now and bowls, and this is tapped onto the leg side where it's picked up at short mid wicket, and there's not going to be a run there. We've got fielders saving, 4 fielders saving singles on the offside. We've got a shortish third man, cover point, extra cover, and a mid off as Kite comes up to the wicket now and bowls. This is a straighter delivery, and this is swung away to mid wicket, and Potgieter has her first run off the third ball face. That's fielded by Arrol, who's out there at mid wicket protecting that shorter boundary on the leg side, the grandstand boundary. 21 for 1, and you're listening to the ball by ball commentary service. A reminder that we're back on the air tomorrow with the universities match, Oxford versus Cambridge. And for the time being, Count runs up to the wicket now and bowls, and that's a cross-batted, sort of an attempt at a slog sweep, and the ball's missed completely by Dean, and the ball creeps under the underside of the bat, goes through to the keeper, no run. Just another rush of adrenaline to the head, perhaps. But Dean's still there, 4 not out. Kite, last ball of her second over, up to the wicket now and bowls, and this is pushed defensively into the offside. That takes us to the end of the third over, and I must remember to stay in my position for one more over, unlike last time. 21 for 1, and Forces should do this quite comfortably, but you can see there's a little bit of nerves there, a couple of loose shots, going after the attacking shots a little bit before the ball is there for the shot.
Yes, I think they just need to have in mind that they have got plenty of time. It's not a huge target, and they've just got to try and take it slowly. I mean, that was a much better over from Amelia Kite. She bowled it much better.
Well, it's going to be Arrol to continue from this end, the nursery end, bowling to Potgieter. So this will be the first delivery Potgieter has faced from this end, so she's just calling out the guard. MCC going with as defensive a field as they're allowed to at this stage. 3 fielders saving 1 on the longer leg side boundary, 5 on the offside, and this is played down to mid-on. Not with an entirely straight bat. I think that might have been an attempted work through to mid-wicket, and the ball actually ended up being pushed down to mid-on, no run. If you can get the ball, there's a huge gap behind square leg. If you can get the ball down there, get the wrists on the ball and roll them away. Oh, and that is that was hit straight. That was hit to mid-on, just a little bit wide of mid-on, but that was desperately close to being caught. They've run 1, but that was a loose drive. It went just a little bit wide of mid-on, fingertip to it maybe.
It was hit very hard, and the fielder managed to sort of thwart it, but it was hit very hard straight at her.
Yes, it's one of those where the longer you have to think about it, the more that can go wrong with your digits. And that's an appeal for LBW. Hit on the pad, it looks outside the line of the off stump. Umpire says no. But this is a good testing over from Arrol. And it just reminds you that these runs that not many of them, but they do still have to be scored. And the MCC are certainly not going to make it easy, as Arrol comes up to the wicket now and bowls. This is a forced delivery in this over, and this is hit straight to short extra cover. And Dean's got good touch and timing, but unfortunately, almost every stroke she's played, she's found a fielder.
Well, I think that's because this is a much better over from Arrol.
Yeah, it certainly is. Only 7 runs off a whole spell so far, but that is not a great delivery. That's a shorter delivery. That swung in front of square on the leg side. That's the longer boundary, and that's going to be 4. That was certainly the Dean's best shot of the innings so far. 26 for 1.
Yes, I think I might have put the commentator's curse on that last ball, because until then it had been a very good over with very consistent length, and then that last one was just a little short and then dispatched to that long boundary to the grandstand.
That's just coming up to 10 to 12. We've got a cut-off time of 1 hour from now. The over rate's been pretty good actually, pretty much just over 15 overs an hour, I would think, which is very good going. Don't see that often in the championship, as this ball is just played defensively straight back to the bowler. Dean playing the ball very straight there. That takes us to the end of the 4th over, so that is the end of my commentary stint. And after a few more words from Avinash, I'm going to hand you over to Niyam Radia.
So the Armed Forces on 26 for 1, chasing 98 to win. They've got off to a very good start, 26 runs on the board already after just 4 overs, but they have lost their captain's wicket, who was going very well. Connie Cant, and then she missed a shot to mid-off, and the catch was taken. So 26 for 1. It's going to be Amelia Kite who's going to continue from the pavilion end, and it's Potgieter on strike, and this ball is pushed out onto the offside and fielded by the fielder at short extra cover, and there is no run. Hello, Niam.
Hello, Avinash. We have the sun out at Lord's.
We do. It's a beautiful day, and the match is very finely poised. The armed forces are going well. This next ball is played out to mid-on, and they take a quick single. Score moves on to 27 for 1, and this will bring Dean on strike, and she is 8 not out of 8 deliveries, so she also means business. Taps away, she's batting at this nursery end. In comes Kite. There's a wild kind of swing without making any real contact with the ball, but they do run through for a single. I think that's a bye, isn't it?
I think it will be a bye,
Yeah.
and I think that takes the armed forces to 28 for 1.
Yeah.
And at this stage of the MCC innings, they were on 10 for 1. So you can see the difference
Yes.
in score.
Yeah, they were very slow, the MCC, in their start. In comes Kite, past the umpire now. And that was a slightly quicker delivery, which is fended out onto the offside, fielded by short extra cover, and there's no run. We're in the 5th over, 2 more balls left in this over. 28 for 1, the armed forces. We've got 2 fielders on the leg side boundary, which I'm sure the batter has got in her mind. And this next ball is just pushed out onto the onside, and they scamper through for a quick single. 29 for 1.
When it comes to the field, it's quite interesting. You need to have a bit of a blend of being attacking if you're the MCC. You're defending quite a low total, but also protect that shorter boundary.
Yeah. The last ball of the over coming up now, and that's on a good length. Again, played out onto the onside to the same fielder running in from mid-on, but this time there isn't enough time to take that single, so the score remains on 29 for 1 at the end of 5 overs. Dean is on 8 not out, Podgeiter is on 4, and I think they will be happy with this start, the UK Armed Forces.
Yeah, I agree with you. Again, there's no need to rush it. You know, as we say, they're 29 for 1 at this stage. The MCC had almost a third of their score, and Podgeiter has a lot of experience in these situations. I think we've mentioned this before, but she was the first female player to reach 100 caps for the Army. She scored over 7,000 runs for the Armed Forces. And she's done this for a long time, and I think this is her on strike again.
It is indeed, and it's going to be Arrol bowling from the nursery end, and that ball is driven out onto the offside, and the fielder on the boundary there has got no chance at all on the extra cover boundary, and that's 4 runs to Podgeiter. Really got hold of that very quickly. Nice that there's quite a decent crowd in now, mainly in the tavern stand, a few in the mound, and on the grandstand the boxes. A fair few of them seem occupied with drinks in hand. This next delivery is pushed out onto the onside by Podgeiter. There is no run. 33 for 1. We're in the 6th over. Podgeiter is 8 not out now. She's faced 11 deliveries so far, and Dean is 8 of 10. In comes Arrol, past the umpire now. Right arm over the wicket. That one is flicked, a sort of a flick shot played really. I'm not sure she timed that perfectly, and fielded by the fielder at short third, and there is no run. Getting through the overs quite quickly, which is nice to see. Podgeiter on strike, bat raised high, waiting for this ball, which is on a good length, and it's just pushed out onto the onside defensively. And there is no run.
The MCC have 3, I would say, catchers. 1 at mid-wicket, or 2 at mid-wicket, 1 at short mid-wicket, 1 at conventional mid-wicket, 1 at short extra cover. There for the catch. So again, that blend of attacking and defending in the field.
Next ball is cut out onto the offside, and that's going to be 4 runs at backward point. Again, not the most exquisitely timed shot, but it's a very short boundary there, so as long as you can avoid the fielder, it's going to make its way down the slope there to the boundary. Score goes on to 37 for 1. Potgeister is now 12 of 14 deliveries, and she's going to be on strike again for the last ball of the over. That's a fuller ball which is up in the air. That should be out. That should be out. Oh, it's dropped. She had all the time in the world, the fielder, running in there, and perhaps too much time. That could be a costly drop.
One senses that would have been a big wicket.
Yeah. Score remains 38 for 1.
Potgeister, we mentioned her experience, and she's hit 2 boundaries off that previous over that Arrol bowled. And to have got her out at that point in the innings would have been a big statement of intent.
Well, it was necessary because we're nearly 40 and only 6 overs gone, so that would have been a vital catch to have been taken. Potgeister is going to be on strike, batting at this nursery end, and it's going to be Amelia Kite carrying on from the pavilion end. She has so far conceded 16 runs off her 3 overs. She's taken 1 wicket. The only wicket to fall so far has fallen to her. And in she comes now. Right arm over the wicket. And that's on a slightly wide line, which the batter does manage to just about reach. And it goes down to the third man area where they have run 2 runs.
You can tell already, Avinash, that the outfield is starting to quicken up slightly.
It is. The sun has been shining all morning, so that ball certainly in the first innings perhaps wouldn't have run so quickly as it did on that one. So she takes 2 runs. She's 15 now, Potgeister. Score moves on to 40. And Kite runs in for the second delivery, which is a fuller length and played out defensively onto the offside. There is no run.
Really important here for the armed forces not to force the issue too much. Plenty of runs on the board and plenty of time remaining, and they're ahead of where the DLS par score says they should be, which is at 29.
Yes, and the main thing is, they've got 9 wickets still in hand. This next one is driven out onto the offside, fielded by the fielder at mid-off, but they take a single. Potgeister is 16 now, and seems to have got her eye in and is timing the ball particularly well. Dean is now on strike. She's 8 not out, steps away from the stumps to survey the field and have a look at to see what gaps there are. There's certainly a big gap between mid-wicket and mid-on that short leg side, and she's eyeing that.
And this is Lieutenant Dean, who has served in the armed forces for 2.5 years.
She settles down now as Kite runs in. That ball is played, a good length ball, which is played back to the bowler, and there is no run. A nice buzz you can hear from our sound effects mic. You can hear the crowd chatting. 41 for 1, the armed forces. That's a full length delivery, and it hits the batter. I thought actually there's an appeal for leg before, but I don't see how, because it hit her very high up, and umpire is certainly not interested. 41 for 1. Dean is the batter on strike. She's 8 not out off 11. Potgeister at the other end is 16. In comes Kite. Let's see what she can do with this one. That's a much better length. And there's a big appeal for leg before. There might just have been a little bit of bat on that. The umpire again not interested. Score remains at 41 for 1.
Once again, I think the ball nipped back off with the slope. That's probably why they were appealing for a leg before.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's really difficult to give those. It's certainly hard for us to tell from our position up here in the commentary box, but
yes, not least because the strip that they're playing today is not directly in front of us. It's as we sit here at the nursery end, it's very much to our left hand side, sort of 3 or 4 pitches along towards the mound stand and the tavern stand, so we're not directly behind the bowler's arms by any means. So 41 for 1. This is the 8th over. Potgieter, who is going well, she's going to be on strike at the pavilion end, and it's going to be Arrol who's going to bowl her 4th over from the nursery end, just setting her field. She's got one fielder at on the extra cover boundary, having a chat with her captain, and between them they are considering pushing another offside fielder onto the boundary, perhaps not. Seem to be two people giving instructions. Yes, I'm right. There's a fielder going out onto the point boundary, and the fielder from the extra cover boundary is swapping places with someone. She's coming in to the onside.
And I think it's the captain herself, Gallagher, who's gone to the deep cover boundary.
Yes, that's where they're expecting Potgieter to target. So two fielders on the offside boundary at point and extra cover. Mid-off, mid-on. In comes Arrol. Full-length delivery, which is missed by everybody, including the wicketkeeper. Probably will be a wide. Let's see what the umpire decides. He's having a good think, and he does finally signal a wide. Score is 44 for 1. They ran through there as well.
They ran 2 there, I
Two
think.
there, yeah. So, Potgieter is 16 not out of 18 deliveries. She faces as a big swipe at the next delivery, which goes absolutely nowhere. And the wicketkeeper just comes round and fields, and the ball makes its way back to the bowler.
You tend to feel as though that the MCC don't have that many runs to defend, and therefore they can't really get away with bowling too many wides.
No, exactly. That's the thing. They do need to keep it tight. I mean, the target, don't forget, 98, and we're at 44 already. This next ball is punched out onto the offside. Should, yeah, just the single because.
Oh no!
Oh dear, that's really poor fielder. The fielder on that point boundary actually had the ball almost in her hand, and then somehow it slipped over the rope. So that's 4 runs.
It wasn't the cleanest of strikes from
no, not at all,
from Potgieter, so there may have been a bit of spin on the ball. Nonetheless,
48 for 1 now. Potgieter on 20 not out, and she pushes this next one out onto the leg side and doesn't even think about a run because there's absolutely no need. The arm force is going very well. 48 for 1 in the 8th over. Potgieter 20 not out. Dean is on 8. Potgieter has dominated the strike, and she's got 3 more balls to face in this over, and this next one is gently played out onto the offside, fielded by the fielder at mid-off. There is no run.
50 to win now.
Yeah.
Oh, 74 deliveries left.
Yeah, so, I mean, it should, famous last words, but it should be really easy, this, for the armed forces. Arrol comes in from the nursery end. That ball is driven out to mid-off. A leisurely single taken. I think the non-striker perhaps took a little bit too long there because she had to scamper at the end. An attempt was made, but she was within her ground.
I tend to get the feeling that Potgieter wants to strike.
I think you're right. She's going well. So Dean is on strike now for the last ball of the over from Arrol. And that's a full-length delivery, which is just drifted onto the leg side. And they run through for a single. I think it'll probably be signalled as a wide as well. Let's have a look. No, it's a leg by. That's a leg by, and that's the end of the 8th over. The score is 50 for 1. The armed force is going very well in return. I think that's the end of my stint, and I'm going to make way for Amber, who will join Nian.
Thank you, Avinash. So here we are. The armed forces need 48 to win off 72. They are 50 for 1 with Dean on strike. As I welcome back into commentary, Amber Sandhu.
Afternoon. I've got my coat on now. It's a bit chilly.
It is a bit
It's
chilly.
A little bit chilly.
The air conditioning is on in
Yes.
the commentary box.
Hey, Lords is filling up though, Niam.
It is indeed. You can hear. You can probably hear that already. There's a buzz around the ground now because the mound stand and the tavern stand they're starting to fill up, which is lovely to see. We have a change of bowling.
We've got Noor Talib coming into the attack from the pavilion end.
Noor Talib, who looks like she's a right arm over because she's flicking the ball up and down in her right hand. And I think it might be right. Here we go. Hop and a skip in. She runs in. She bowls. This is short of a length outside the off stump and just swatted away by Dean, who then they scamper through for a quick single. The throw from the mid-wicket fielder is slightly loose, but no worse than a single run. And this brings the experienced Potgieter back on strike. She is 21 off 23 faced. The Armed Forces 51 for 1. As Talib bowls again. Gentle run in. Right arm over. This is Fuller and pulled away. Backward a square. That's picked up by the square leg fielder as they run through for another single. There was a chance that was going to run away for a boundary, but it was well fielded by the deep square leg fielder. Again, we have two fielders protecting that short boundary on the leg side, just in front of Old Father Time. So we have a deep mid-wicket and a deep square leg. And then all other fielders inside the 30-yard circle as Talib continues for the third ball of her over outside the off stump. This is swatted away again into the leg side by Dean, but picked up confidently by the fielder at deep mid-wicket as they run through for another single. And that's 3 off the over, 3 singles and 3 deliveries.
Armed Forces making this look very easy. MCC at this point were 35, and already Armed Forces are way ahead of 50.
And if you invert those numbers, they're now 53 for 1 as Talib continues. This one's Fuller outside the off stump, defended by Potgieter straight to the fielder at short extra cover. Potgieter going well at 22 off 25 deliveries. And what they've done, Amber, is they've just kept the strike, the run rate going.
And rotating the strike as well, sensibly, not taking risks.
2 catches, one on the offside, one on the leg side, extra cover and mid-wicket as the ball comes outside the off stump, and this is hit to that fielder at mid-wicket. And Dean there was trying to back up.
Yes.
Had come probably about 2 or 3 yards outside of her crease, and the fielder who picked it up at mid-wicket tried to throw it to the non-striker's end and run Dean out, but actually she just about probably managed to get in time as Talib continues. Final ball of her over. She's gone for 3 so far. Bowls outside the off stump, and that was an attempted cut. It was quite wide. She probably could have got a wide for that, but it only goes as far as the protected offside field, and that will bring an end to the 9th over. The Armed Forces 53 for 1. Dean is 10, not out, and Potgieter is on 22. It's a bit of a shadow over Lords now.
Didn't want to mention it, but it's looking rather cloudy.
We're going to keep our fingers crossed, aren't we, Amber?
Yes. Staying optimistic here. They need 45 to win. 9 overs in hand.
Indeed. As the 2 batters meet in the middle of the crease, they give each other a bit of a fist bump. I always wonder what they talk about in that situation.
Yeah, so do I. I often talk about what's for tea. I don't actually talk about anything relevant to the game.
Yeah, I mean, I never batted enough to be able to tell you. So,
I could have said that.
Nonetheless, we have Dean on strike, and we have a new bowler from the nursery end.
Tyson.
We have Tyson.
Who was, she'll be bowling left arm, I assume.
This is Rebecca Tyson. And she is bowling left arm round the wicket. Nice and floated delivery, and this is just pushed into the leg side by Dean and picked up by the fielder at mid-wicket. Again, we have 2 fielders protecting that short offside boundary for the right-handed batter, one at deep point and one at deep cover. As Tyson continues, nice and floated outside the off stump, and this is just pushed to the fielder at short extra cover. Again, I'll continue with the field. So we have a short third, a mid-off, mid-on, catcher, short mid-wicket, and then 2 fielders outside the 30-yard circle on the leg side as Tyson continues. Nice and floated outside the leg stump, and this is pushed away nice and firmly over the infield, and that'll run away for 4 through mid-wicket.
That was a lovely shot.
It was a strong shot. It was slightly short of a length, that one.
Yeah.
The first 2 deliveries of her over, Tyson made sure she floated it up but kept it fuller, but this one was slightly shorter.
I thought Dean timed that very well.
She did, and we have
Got
two.
to the ball, striked it.
We have 2 fielders, one at deep mid-wicket, one at deep backward square leg. So she managed to find that gap quite well. 4th ball of Tyson's over. This is floated up in the air and just pushed again into the leg side. That's a better line and better length from Tyson. The left-handed Tyson, who takes a bit of a hop from about 7 or 8 yards out. She runs in again. This is again nice and floating, again pushed. Well, tried to push it into the leg side, but I imagine either hit her leg or hit the outside edge of her bat and runs through to short third, but again, no runs. We mentioned it before, them having to find the balance between a catching field and a defensive field. As Dean takes strike 14 again, this is outside the off stump, but they push through for a single as the ball heads out to deep cover. And that brings Potgieter on, well, it would have brought Potgieter on strike, but that's the end of the over. End of the 10th over.
I thought it was a really strong over from Tyson there. Despite that boundary, I thought her line and length were quite tight. Right amount of flight on the ball.
I think the only loose delivery was the one that went away. And it took a good shot to pull it away. It was a bit of a kind of cross-batted, it wasn't really a pull, but it was a bit of a kind of swash. Swash. One of those 2 words. I'm sure listeners can email me at ballbyball@mcc.org.uk to tell me the exact word to describe that shot. But it was something like that. As Talib continues from the pavilion end. This is full outside the off stump, and that's heaved away. That really was.
Straight into the stands, that one.
That was a cross-batted slog sweep over deep mid-wicket, and it's gone all the way for 6. What a fantastic shot that was. That went straight over the people in the crowd in the tavern stand, just under Old Father Time. Well picked up by Dean there. That takes her to 21 off 23, and the Armed Forces 64 for 1. Talib continues, 2nd ball of her over. Bowls. This is full outside the off stump, and again swatted away down the leg side. This will run away for 4. This has gone to wide of mid-on, and it runs away towards the Allen stand for 4 runs.
Dean looking in superb form, hitting that 6, and then another boundary there, 4 runs for her.
And in the last few deliveries faced from her in the last 2 overs, she's hit 2 boundaries and a 6.
Looking very confident out there.
And all these balls have been outside the off stump, and she's managed to almost swat them away from outside the off stump into the leg side towards that shorter boundary. As Talib continues, here we go. And she bowls this again outside the off stump, and again she tries to pull it through, and it's gone into the leg side again. That'll run away straight past the diving left hand of the mid-on fielder for 4. Again, that was a wide delivery outside the off stump, and she's almost hit a baseball shot straight past the diving right hand of the bowler and the diving left hand of the mid-on fielder, which gives you an indication as to the direction in which that was hit.
You can't really be bowling that short at a batter like Dean, who is very capable of dispatching a bad ball.
And now, from being in the teens a few deliveries ago, she's now on 29 off 25 balls faced since Talib continues. 4th ball. And this was a better line, better length, and just nipped into the leg side by Dean. And in fact, that was not even nipped into the leg side, that was a leg bike. It must have come off her pad. But they do manage to run through for a single, and adds another run to the extras column. And that brings Potgieter on strike. 22. She's on. And the Armed Forces 73 for 1 to win 25 off 56 balls as Talib continues. Outside the off stump this, and just pushed into the leg side, and they couldn't decide whether they're going to run or they're not.
Non-striker definitely wanted the run.
I think she did. I think Dean wanted the run. She wanted to get back on strike. But Potgieter correctly turned her back as the ball makes its way round the infield and back to Noor Talib, the bowler. And Potgieter for the final delivery of this over from Talib, who runs in. This is full, and that's pushed away, back with a square leg, and that runs away for 4. Again, the ball nipped in down the slope, and Potgieter was able to pull that one away for 4 runs. And the boundary is actually so short. It was hit well, to be fair, but the boundary is so short on that leg side that the fielder at deep square leg wasn't able to even reach the ball.
4 boundaries in that over. Dean, 29-26, makes her the highest scoring batter thus far. 77 for 1 here. 21 to win off 54 deliveries now. Had a message in from Sanjeev. He said it was SWAT.
SWAT?
Yeah, SWAT. That word message in.
SWAT. I will bear that one in mind. Thank you very much.
Tyson into the attack from the nursery end. Second over of the game.
And we have swash, swatch, swat. I'm really not sure anymore. As Tyson continues, this one floated and just defended quite firmly into the leg side. Only goes as far as the fielder at mid-on. Again, we have a catcher, almost a deep slip. We have 2 fielders on the offside, one at deep point and deep cover, a catcher at short extra cover. This one floated in the air into the leg side and again defended by Dean, who's on 29 off 28 deliveries faced. That was defended into the leg side. And Tyson will continue. Third ball of her over. Left arm round the wicket. Nice high bound. This is floated in the air. And again, just pushed into the leg side. Only goes as far as the fielder at mid-on. And on the leg side, we've got a mid-wicket fielder, a mid-on, and 2 fielders outside the 30-yard circle. Tyson continues. This one shorter. This one pushed into the offside to the fielder at deep cover by Dean. Takes her to 30 now. And takes the Armed Forces to 78 for 1. Now 20 to win off 50 balls left.
These 2 making it look very easy out there.
They are indeed. Again,
effortlessly.
Chasing a score of 97. This one's sharper, faster, flatter. But Potgieter manages to squeeze that into the leg side. And they run through for a quick single. And this brings the attacking Dean on strike for the final ball of Tyson's over. 79 for 1 is the score. 19 to win now off 49 deliveries. Left arm round the wicket. Tyson floats this up in the air and again pushed into the leg side firmly by Dean. No runs scored. That's the end of the over. End of the 12th over. 79 for 1. 19 to win off 48 balls. And this should be a good opportunity now for the Armed Forces. And I'll leave you in the capable hands of Amber. And coming after me is Terry.
Thank you very much, Niam. Yes, Armed Forces 79 for 1, comfortably chasing down MCC's 97. 19 to win. Dean 30. Potgieter 27 off 30 deliveries. 12 overs gone. Terry, welcome.
Thank you, Amber. I thought that Niam had created another word there, swash. But I checked it. Swash, the word does exist.
Oh, God, get back to yourself.
It's a little pool of liquid.
Oh yeah.
Genuinely, you know, when the sea goes out and there's a little pool of water left on the beach, that's a swash apparently.
Oh, I see.
So that's what he meant, clearly.
Learned something the other day.
Not sure what that has to do with cricket necessarily, but well.
Sun is still out here, looking a little bit overcast, a tiny bit.
Yeah, a cloud cover came over, but Father Time quickly hurried it away, and the sun's back out again. And you wouldn't expect that the UK Armed Forces should have too much trouble from here, but never say never.
And we've got a new bowler into the attack from the pavilion end. Christy Cavill comes into the attack, just discussing with her captain her field at the moment. At the moment, it looks like they've got a long on, mid-off, point, cover, backwards point, square leg, deep square leg, I should say, mid-wicket.
It's a tough gig for Havel because only 19 runs required off 8 overs.
Yes, 19 to win for the Armed Forces. They're 79 for 1 at the moment.
Imagine it, if you're a bowler in this situation, you just don't want the winning runs to come off your stint. Really.
No.
I didn't. At one point, I didn't think I'd get on.
Got a bit of spin. That's just been defended into the onside for a dot.
The way the Armed Forces started, I thought I wouldn't necessarily be being required in this innings.
New bowler Havill coming in for her second ball. Comes into bowl. That's just been swept, gone straight to mid-wicket. They're going to take single.
It's going to be run out.
Oh, that was very close. Very speedy running between the wickets. Went straight to mid-wicket. I was quite surprised I took the run there.
Direct hit, and I think she was gone. And bit of a risk, as
that was a bit risky, yeah, that was.
Is it worth taking when you're this comfortable? But I suppose when you're in the middle, you just want as many runs as you can get.
Absolutely. Dean on strike now. Christy Havill coming in from the pavilion end. Comes into bowl. A lot flatter delivery. Swing and a miss there, goes through to the keeper. No run.
Dean's eyes lit up there. I think
she thought
she saw that disappearing.
Absolutely.
Towards the mound or the tavern stand, but didn't get any contact at all.
These two building up a very lovely partnership. That's driven through the covers, past mid-off, making its way down to the pavilion boundary. It's looking slow out there, but I think it's gone. That's 4 runs there.
That's a beautifully timed shot.
That was.
From Dean, who'd spent 4 overs just on the 8 runs, and mainly because Potgeiger had stolen the...
Takes Dean to 34 off 33 deliveries.
Stolen the bulk of the bowling early on, but she's exploded into form since then.
I'll say it again, but these two look very comfortable out there. 14 to win here at Lords for the Armed Forces women. 84 for 1. Havill coming in. Flighted delivery. It's just been flicked. Oh, that's in the air, straight into the stands. That's 6 runs for Dean.
We had a spectator in Tavern didn't want to lose his pint, so
no, he didn't.
So didn't risk it and drop catch there in the crowd.
Utilising that short leg side boundary we've got here to the left of the media centre at Lords. Dean on strike, she's on 40. Havill come in to bowl. Shorter, that's swept again to the leg side boundary. They'll only get 1, went straight to a fielder there. They'll get the 1 run. 8 to win here for the Armed Forces women.
Could just be done and dusted in this next over.
End of the over, yes.
The same rate.
End of the over there. Dean on 41 off 35 deliveries. Potgeiger 28 off 32. 91 for 1 here. 7 to win. Just wasn't enough, was it?
No, and the Armed Forces, having beaten MCC women last year, don't look like they're going to get any revenge on this occasion either. Next game coming up after this is the defending champions, the Army, up against the Navy. Scheduled for a 1:15 start.
Fingers crossed the weather holds up. We've got a new bowler coming in from the nursery end.
The cloud has filled out a bit, hasn't it?
It has.
So they're looking a tad grayer than the ones earlier. So
those fancy boxes are looking full. Terry?
They are, aren't they?
Reckon we could sneak in?
Oh yeah, easy.
Should we try it? Right. Lisa Newburn into the attack for her very first over. 7 to win here for the Armed Forces ladies. Potgeiger, Dean batting, Dean on strike. It looks like we're going to have a bit of spin. Yes. A little bit of spin from the nursery end. Loopy delivery there. That's just attempted drive, kind of pushed it to the offside. It's just didn't quite connect. No run there.
A distinctive start to a run up there, like a gymnast.
Yeah.
Newburn set off.
Her action's quite interesting. She puts her arm up. Very interesting. A lot of flat, and that's been flicked to the leg side. Fielder, deep square leg. They're going to go for 2. Yeah, comfortably get back for 2 runs there.
Yeah, on the longest boundary side towards the grandstand, plenty of time to get to.
5 to win here at Lords for the Armed Forces women. MCC women bowling. Newborn coming in. Oh, that's just been flicked down to the leg side. It's in the air. In a very vacant region though. Just the 1 run. 4 to win. 95 for 1. Potgeiger, Dean.
Yeah, Dean just didn't get enough on that, did she? Again, her eyes lit up as she was eyeing up another boundary.
Lisa Newborn. Another flighter, that's a lovely shot. Pulled away to leg side, and that is the game. 4 runs. Armed Force women take the win here at Lords.
Well, she missed out on the boundary in the ball before. She wasn't going to miss out the second time. So it was pitched up, full toss, swung away, and those were the winning runs.
Amanda Potgeiger, 32 not out, and then Dean hitting the winning runs there, 44 off 38 deliveries.
Yeah, comfortable win for the Armed Forces. The MCC will be disappointed, I guess. I'm sure, actually, that they didn't set a more a tougher target.
Absolutely.
For the Armed Forces to give them a better chance of victory, but the score of 97 was never going to be enough for
No, it wasn't. The Armed Force women take the first win of today's game. The next one, just to remind you, is the Army versus the Navy. That's due to start at 1:15. Army being the defending champions. Of course, you can get in touch with us ball by ball at mcc.org.uk to give us your thoughts on that game. And of course, we're live on YouTube as well. Have search for Forces News on the YouTube channel. We're live streaming all the games today here at Lords, but congratulations to the Armed Forces women who take the win today here at Lords.
Yeah, well deserved.
Absolutely.
Amber, you've got what, about 45 minutes to see if you can sneak into the executive boxes over there.
Take you with me, Terry.
Nice,
and we
you.
will be back in approximately 30 to 40 minutes for the second game of today's Armed Forces Day here at Lords. Army versus the Navy due to start at 1:15. Thank you very much. So a convincing win then for the UK Armed Forces women here against the MCC, a massive 9-wicket win. I'm glad to be joined by a 2-wicket bowler, Megan Richards. Meg, congratulations. Your first visit to Lords as a player, I mean, and to get 2 wickets and to be part of a winning side, what a day it must be for you.
It's unbelievable. First time here as a player and as a spectator. I've never been here before in my life. But no, it's unbelievable, unbelievable. I could have asked for a better day really, and luckily the weather managed to hold out for us. So yeah, no, really good experience.
I know they do shorten the wickets, but they do the same for the men's game as well. But there was some very impressive batting there from both sides, and it was amazing that you broke through twice with your bowling.
Yeah, I was quite surprised to be fair. The first over didn't go quite to plan. I got tonked around a little bit. The second over kind of tightened up a little bit, and yeah, managed to get the 2 wickets, which I'm pretty chuffed at. I didn't think I would, but I did.
When they set a score of 98 to win, last year I think they got over 100. Did you as a team know that was gettable, and sort of, you know, you sort of, what was the chat like at the interval? You know, kind of positive, go out positively and hit from big from the start?
Oh, we're pretty chuffy first. Going to that last over, that was a goal, keep under 100. And our back line up, as you can see, is pretty strong. So we felt pretty confident. You can see the girls, when they first went out, did try and smack it, and they sort of reined in a little bit. But no, really good, really good. Yeah, good batting team.
And to get a 9-wicket win, so only 1 down, and to get such a big total in almost, you know, in all the overs with plenty overs to spare, impressive as well. So you'll be looking forward to more cricket this summer.
Definitely, yeah, and I'm quite happy as well because I'm not particularly enjoying batting, so I was quite happy to just sit there and watch. They did me a massive favour as well, so I could just sit and enjoy it as a spectator, which is what I love to do as well.
And just finally, you obviously didn't let the emotions take over, given that you got the 2 wickets, but is it quite a sort of awesome experience that kind of sends tingles down your spine to be here at Lords?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, obviously no one thinks they're going to play at Lords. Like, I played at university, that was about 4 years ago now, so this past month's been a bit of a refresh for me, but never ever did I think I'd end up here. Obviously the home of cricket, can't ask much better than that really.
And what's in, you play for the Army, what's sort of in store for the rest of the summer in terms of other matches? Will the women have a 40 overs tournament as well?
Yeah, we tend to have a 40, like an inter-service, so obviously Army, RAF, Navy, and then hopefully a couple more games across the summer, so looking forward to it.
Listen, Megan, thank you very much. An amazing debut here at Lords, and that sums up the UKAF's women's game. They beat the MCC by a massive 9 wickets. Do stay with us. The men's game is on at 1:15, and that is the Army against the Navy, and then the Army will face the RAF at 4 o'clock. We'll see you later.